Oilers and their run-and-shoot offense are lighting up the scoreboard 2-1 over opponents, while others have tried and failed with the run-and-shoot. Houston's Warren Moon has made the Oilers the NFL's top passing team. But it is expensive. Moon absorbing huge hits, even while the Oilers score and win. So far this year, Moon has bounced back each time, his quiet toughness influencing Houston's quick start. Will Moon endure? Can he inspire the 5-1 Oilers to be the AFC's best?
NBC Sports presents the National Football League. Today, it's the Houston Oilers versus the Miami Dolphins.
Over 60,000 fans expected today at Joe Robbie Stadium, some 16 miles northwest of downtown Miami. A thunderstorm that hit about a half hour ago, dropping some heavy rain, but that has subsided. The lights are on. We're ready to go, and it's the Houston Oilers 5-1 against the 3-4 Dolphins. Dick Enberg with Bill Walsh. Bill Walsh, a man who was not all that kind or enamored of the run-and-shoot offense, but certainly has always envied the talents of Warren Moon.
Well, if anybody can make the run and shoot to the Super Bowl, it's Warren Moon. He may very well be the best quarterback in football today, and this run and shoot calls for passes thrown across the field, 40 and 50 yards on a line. Warren Moon can do that.
But the indoor Oilers have had trouble historically playing outside. They did win last week in New York. But with the rain today, will that affect their offense? Will it help Miami?
Well, I think the run and shoot is more sensitive to weather, and it's the footing that makes a difference, Dick. The soft footing, because the receivers are asked to change direction, read coverages, stop, start, and with a soft field, we'll see what happens.
Veteran wide receiver of the Miami Dolphins, Mark Clayton, told us yesterday the games the past couple of weeks have been serious games. He said, we are now in critical condition. This is a must-win game for Miami if they are to entertain any hopes of a playoff. They lost only 4 times all of last year. They've already lost 4 this year.
Well, Miami is going to have to make a complete, they're going to have to resurrect their team this week. All phases of the game are going to have to improve. And once again, it's Dan Marino who's going to have to go head-to-head with Warren Moon. And Dan's going to have a great day for Miami to stay in this game.
And you see Marino working on a week's worth of mustache, something that he said he has not tried before. We'll get reviews on that as the season progresses. Really in the hands of Marino, the brilliant passer of Miami. When you compare the talents of these two teams, there's a good reason why the Oilers on the road are favorites today. Marino's the one man that could make up the deficit. So pressure on him as the Oilers will receive the opening kickoff. Pete Stoyanovich to Alan Pinkett and Gary Brown. Stoyanovich with a great leg. Aims it toward Pinkett, the former Notre Dame All-America, at the 7, the 20, and slips down at the 24-yard line. The offense guided by Warren Moon. The run and shoot, actually more shoot than run. Maggs, Munchak, Matthews, a Pro Bowler at center, Flannery, a rookie, and David Williams, a big offensive line. Moon, indeed, number 1. Pinkett with the 4 wide receivers, Jeffries, Hill, Givens, and Duncan. And that is their regular set as well as their 3rd and long. The run and shoot of Jack Pardee in his 2nd year as the head man of the Oilers, coming from the University of Houston. It's Drew Hill, the veteran, in motion. Moon comes out throwing. It's to Ernest Given, shirt-tailed at the 30-yard line. A gain of 5 against the Dolphin defense that has been much too generous. Oglesby, Turner, and Cross, the front 3. E.J. Jr. will come in as a linebacker, and this is the set against the run and shoot as they go with all those defensive backs. Bobby Harden is a safety playing linebacker. Magruder for the injured Vesty Jackson. J.B. Brown, Jarvis Williams, Oliver, a rookie Green, and Langford loaded up with DBs against Warren Moon. Second and 5. Pinkett can't turn the corner, and that'll bring up 3rd and 2.
Gets any softer, I think we're going to see a material difference in what the run and shoot can do. Right now, I think they can function on this field, but one more hit of that rain, where it's about a ½ an inch in 15 minutes, I think you'll see a dramatic difference in what the run and shoot can get done.
Moon trying the run. The Dolphins almost daring Houston to run as they've loaded up against the pass. 3rd and a short 2. You see the wide receivers signaling out, echoing out at audible. It's to Pinkett, and he may have just gotten the first down. He needed to hit the 35, and they mark it right on the 35. Alfred Oglesby, who played in Houston for Jack Pardee, made the tackle.
Well, every one of these first downs are critical to Miami because they've got to somehow get field position and control the ball. So any play like this can be disastrous. And it didn't appear he made it, but by the time they placed the ball, he'd made it maybe by 6 inches. Pardee has brought discipline to this organization, and it sorely needed discipline. And of all the people they could have picked, this is the right man.
Influenced by Bear Bryant as a collegian and George Allen as a pro. On first down, Moon down the middle, wide open is Givens, and Givens has 10 more yards as the former Louisville star has his 28th catch of the season. Bobby Harden, who played here in Miami for the Hurricanes, made the tackle.
The inside people in the run and shoot, the slot men, so to speak, are always ready to cross shallow to the other side of the field, and zone defenders over there have to be alert for it. At that time, they were just too late getting to him. So if those zone defenders on the far side of the field don't see those crossing receivers coming, Houston will control the ball all day.
That's Hill, the veteran from Georgia Tech, in motion. And will delay play to Pinkett. And he picks up 7 as he moves into Miami territory to the 48-yard line. E.J. Jr., the tackler.
Jack Pardee wants to control the ball, and they'll go to the run if there aren't enough defenders within the tackle box, so to speak. That time Miami had 5 men directly opposite the 5 men from Houston. So consequently, they're going to run that draw play all day.
Pinkett's rushing yardage has declined each game since game 1, and last week had only a -1 yard. There is Lorenzo White had the heavy load. They'll share duties today. 2nd and short. Pinkett again. And he pulls his way to the 43, another first down. So a consistent drive off the opening kickoff by the Oilers, engineered by Warren Moon.
Again, Dick, the Miami team is saying run the ball. We're going to stop the pass. And that time again, just 5 men against 5 potential blockers. And Warren Moon's going to call a run play virtually every time he sees that until Miami can stop it. But I think it's good strategy. They don't want Warren Moon throwing the ball today. They want the running game to beat them if anybody's going to do it.
All right, let's look at that defensive line as Moon does as well. 4 defensive linemen, 1 linebacker. A couple of DBs up on the line of scrimmage. Moon intercepted. He overthrew his man, and it's Louis Oliver, the former Florida star, to the 40, and the Dolphins with a turnover.
Oliver was simply playing center field. He was covering no one. Warren Moon simply threw the ball. It got out of control. Maybe it's wet, but clearly over everybody's head to the center fielder. Meanwhile, he had 2 other shallow receivers wide open. Big break for Miami.
Everybody's different. Different looks, different tastes, different lifestyles. That's why Geo offers you a choice. Geo Metro, Geo Storm, Geo Prism, and Geo Tracker. So pick your favorite and get to know Geo. Right around the corner at your Chevrolet Geo dealers.
You'd think a country that could put a guy on the moon and a sushi bar on every corner could make a great non-alcoholic brew. Coors did it. Now even a herd cutter or a word cutter can enjoy a Coors cutter. Everything about the taste says beer, but the label, that says brew. Lawyers, go figure. So whether you're a butter cutter or a clutter cutter, enjoy the clean-cut taste of a Coors cutter. Nothing cuts it like a cutter.
Those figures for the meeting, you don't like them?
Some things are so reliable, they seem invisible.
Confusing, right? They're fine.
For the last 9 years, Canon has been the #1 choice for copiers of uncompromising quality.
No, really, tell me. You can tell me. They're fine. I'm your friend, tell me.
And if you haven't noticed, that's exactly how it should be.
We're not friends anymore.
From compact to advanced digital color to high-speed copying systems, the choice is Canon. Call 1-800-OK-CANON.
Since we became employee-owned, I think there's a far greater commitment to providing good quality service.
Roving Rapid Return is really fast. I meet you at your car, push a couple of buttons, hand you a receipt, and you're out of there.
So why rent from anyone but an owner?
On the turnover, Miami starts at the 39. Richmond Webb, a rookie Pro Bowler. Widener, Ulenek, Galbraith, and Dennis, the offensive line. Marino with Sammy Smith and Tony Page. The Marks, Duper, and Clayton outside, and Greg Beatty, the tight end. Marino will start with a pass, incomplete to Mark Clayton. Deflected, I believe, by Johnny Meads, the linebacker. And there's your interceptor for Miami, his second of the season. Third-year man, Lewis Oliver. He returned it 22 yards.
Oliver, by the way, is getting better by the game. He finally will become most likely the best safety man in football.
Fuller has 7 sacks to lead the AFC. Childress, Smith, and Jones complete the front three, and there's their linebackers and defensive back. Chris Dishman, number 28, the left corner, has been brilliant. 5 straight games he's been involved in a turnover. 4 interceptions and a fumble recovery. Stay on the ground, and surprise with Sammy Smith, who has nearly 10, before Bubba McDowell, the safety man, can trip him up.
This is what Miami has to do. Mix the run and the play pass. This is taken straight up the middle with a lead blocker. And, of course, Tony Page, one of the best lead blocking fullbacks in the league. If they can get chunks of yardage like that, they'll be fine. What they have to do is get field position before they do punt the ball. Of course, they'd like to score, but they can't give the ball up in the middle of the field.
Only 16 yards against Kansas City as Smith returned. His longest run was 4. That one was for 9. 2nd and 1. Smith, first down. He got to the 50, and that's all he needed.
Boy, did that take an effort by Smith, because Childress and Doug Smith, both defensive linemen, penetrated, and he had to hop over one of them to get the first down.
Ball just into Houston territory.
So it's so critical to consume time and get field position. That's how Miami can win it. They can't turn the ball over, and they can't punt from their end of the field very often, because that offense of Houston's will take it in for 6.
No score, first possession for the Dolphins. 9 minutes left, opening quarter from the 49. Smith again. Hit in the backfield and dropped for a loss at the 50-yard line as veteran Sean Jones knifed in for the tackle. Our first 10-minute ticker. No score in those games early. And New England has just scored against Minnesota. New England, the only team to beat Houston this year. That surprising win up at Foxborough. Brilliant play on the final play of the game to upset the Oilers.
Something ominous, Dick. Richmond Webb was stuffed by Sean Jones that time. That's a great matchup. One of the great matchups of the year between 2 linemen. But that time, Sean Jones won the matchup.
2nd down, 11. To Smith, well read by the defense. It was Al Smith, the inside linebacker, making the tackle after a gain of a yard.
Well, it's a pressure defense. Now, here's that matchup we talked about. 78 Webb, and Jones is going to just go, oh, this is the pass play. So he's going to jump high, and one of his thoughts, Jones thought, was to squeeze in on Marino and jump to bat the ball. But look at these 2 guys. Huge. Look at the sleeve length, 39 inches. You probably won't see that kind of a matchup, 39-inch sleeve length all year between 2 people.
And Webb uses those long arms as a pass blocker, and Jones says, I'm his match. I like to get my arms into the blocker. We'll see who wins this boxing match. Marino, well protected, and throws short to Mark Clayton, who had a sea of blue jerseys around him, and Dolphins will have to kick it away.
Dan just has to start hitting those passes. In looking at the tapes of last week's game, he missed any number of passes downfield with a receiver running at full speed. And at that time, the ball bounced about 10 yards short. So this must mean that Dan's not in proper position to throw the ball and is rushing his throws. He's not relaxed.
Reggie Roby with those big numbers, 45.5-yard average, and that one's going to go right through the end zone. Wow. So they'll take the touchback, will the Oilers, at the 20-yard line. Timeout with 7:13 remaining in a scoreless first period.
Oh, you looked scarier 25 years ago.
Did I?
You looked scared.
I don't know. I thought I hit it well for an innocent groom.
You were innocent for the 60s.
Any regrets?
None. You?
Just one.
What?
That I waited 25 years to give you this.
The 25th anniversary diamond, a brilliant celebration of a loving marriage.
I've got goosebumps.
Well, you've given me goosebumps for 25 years.
Chevy trucks. The trucks you can depend on. The trucks that last.
It's gone. But it isn't.
Vicks introduces an incredible new cough drop.
It's gone, but it isn't.
A cough drop so powerful, it keeps on working even after the drop is gone. It's extra strength Vicks, a new kind of Vicks with twice the Vicks vapor medicine to relieve your cough and help your scratchy throat and stuffy nose feel better, even after the drop is gone. New extra strength Vicks, extra strong to work
even after it's gone.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the trucks you can depend on, the trucks that last. By New Coors Cutter non-alcoholic brew. By Norelco patented lift and cut shavers. We make clothes comfortable. And by First Brands Corporation, makers of Prestone Advanced Formula Antifreeze.
Blue skies now after the rain that preceded the game. The Houston Oilers' second possession. The first drive halted on an overthrow by Warren Moon, intercepted by Louis Oliver. They start from the 20.
The receivers are signaling the pass pattern. Oh, they're running a draw.
And Pinkett is met in the backfield. A 2-yard loss. E.J. Jr.
Now that was an audible by Moon. When he saw that front, he was getting a nickel defense. And that nickel defense to him meant run the ball. He had the middle linebacker as a defensive back, so he ran his draw play. And you see Matthews come right out on that number 45, Bobby Harden. But he'll audible. Meanwhile, the receivers were signaling that the play had been changed. So when you see those receivers in your picture using arm gestures, they're calling the audible after Warren Moon does.
So E.J. Jr. off a stunt right into the hole to make the tackle. 2nd and 12. Moon incomplete. No flag. It appeared that Jeffries was manhandled before the ball arrived. No penalty. J.B. Brown on the coverage, and he was indeed covering Jeffries.
Well, Brown was not forced back. He was right on Jeffries. When Jeffries turned on his hooking pattern, Brown was right on his hip. Now you see it at the middle of the screen, straight up the field, and Brown is right there, right there. Now that's tight. I think that's a good play, good defensive play. Both going for the ball.
The Oilers last year led the NFL in third down efficiency, almost 52%. This season, they're even better, 54 plus.
The run is there if Houston wants it. A 3-man line.
Moon needs 12. Almost intercepted and then caught by Drew Hill. Oh, my. It went right through the hands of Vesti Jackson, who might have had a touchdown, squirted right to Drew Hill, who picks up a freak first down.
If they lose this game, if Miami loses, they'll look at this play. This is 7 points. And then to have it go to Drew, now that's quick hands by Hill. But there's the kind of play the Dolphins are going to have to make. Excellent coverage, cuts underneath his man, and lets the ball slip through his hands.
And for Drew Hill, who has set a Houston career reception record, that's his 412th, and runs his streak to 67 consecutive games with at least one reception.
Drew Hill is the premier receiver on this team. He hasn't caught as many balls, but he's the guy they'll go to in the clutch.
First down at the 34. Moon a little deeper this time, and Jeffries can't hang on as J.V. Brown in to get a hand on it.
Brown is there. He's there today, I'll tell you, because he had good position until the ball was thrown, and he broke on it and made the play. So he's giving his people trouble, and Jeffries, after last week with a tremendous game against the Jets. Now you see him break on the ball. It's in the air, and he's right on the money. The sideline, he uses it, and it just makes it too tough for Hayward to catch the ball.
Second down 10. Hill now over 8,000 career yards with his last catch in motion. The draw again. Pinkett tripped up. David Griggs, third-year backer from Virginia, makes the tackle.
They wanted to run the ball. They wanted to run the ball against the nickel defense. Miami is playing a nickel defense, and this man is a defensive back. This is Bobby Harden. So the natural thing to do is run, but look, they ran a line stunt and left the running back nowhere to go. Nowhere to go. Beautiful job. If they can get that done with just those 4 defensive linemen, they're going to have a pretty good defensive day.
Moon looking now for 3 out of 3 on third down. Thrown behind Tony Jones as Moon was feeling the pressure. Jeff Cross for the Dolphins.
Moon wanted Ernest Givens on the far side of the field, and he simply waited too long for Givens to get open. He waited too long. Now Givens will be the second man in the slot coming down the field. Moon will sprint to his left, and he wants to throw back. Now he's sprinting to his right, and he sees this hole right here. He can't get the ball to him. Now, that pressure by Emmy is really surprising me, Dick. I didn't think they could get this done.
Montgomery's punt, end over end toward the sideline. Scott Miller is going to let it bounce and down at the 26-yard line. So Miami has held Houston on its first 2 tries here in the first quarter.
Wouldn't it be great if there was a country club just for regular guys and a few things were changed, like monster carts allowed on course, water hazards shall no longer be hazardous, spikes encouraged in the clubhouse, only really great premium beer served, like cold filtered Keystone and Keystone Light, bottle beer taste in a can.
Hey, I'm in the sand again. All right.
Nice shot.
Thanks. Wouldn't that be great?
When her car needed a new battery, you got the heavy-duty model. When the tires started to wear, you spent a little more for the good ones. And even though the brakes could have made it a while longer, you said replace them. And now that fall's here, you're using Prestone Antifreeze. Its patented formula exceeds every performance standard set for the antifreeze industry. For corrosion and freeze-up protection, Prestone, we make it better than we have to. For some very good reasons.
Last year, the average price of a car with standard anti-lock brakes was over $40,000. But today, all that's changed. Because we understand the real value of safety. We put anti-lock brakes standard on more models than anyone. Even on our least expensive Cavalier. Chevrolet.
The heartbeat of America.
The cars more people depend on.
That's today's Chevrolet.
It took all day, but they finally came up with one very big idea. What do you bet they printed on a laser jet from Hewlett-Packard?
Back at Joe Robbie Stadium, and New Orleans seeking unbeaten first half of the season, takes the early lead against the Buccaneers. No score in Pittsburgh, nor in Indianapolis, and New England still leading Minnesota 7-0 in the first. No score here as the sun now blazes down on the damp turf of Joe Robbie. 4:45 left in the opening quarter, and Dan Marino goes to work from his own 26. He's 1 for 3 passing, only 2 yards. Underneath to Tony Page, and the fullback is to the 33. Page's 18th catch this year. He has carried the ball only twice all season.
Now, Page is simply going to release into the flat against the zone defense, and Marino's going to hold the ball, let the defenders drop, and then throw it late right to that spot. Now, what I like is Page is going to split those 2 defensive men. When you catch that ball in the zone, look for the 2 closest defenders and split them. Don't stop and start and try to make them miss.
On second down, Smith is swarmed before he can take more than a step as Doug Smith and William Fuller invade the backfield of the Dolphins. And there's Doug Smith, and you talk to the coaches and players of the Houston Oilers, they say he is playing all-pro defensive tackle.
He is the difference. They have Childress, they have Jones, they have Fuller, their sack artists, but Smith is not 309, he says. He says he's 297. He wants you to understand that, but he's having a great season. Dominating player. You put him next to Childress, you've got 2 of the best defensive tackles in football.
4-yard loss, so Marino out of the shotgun. Jim Jensen into the game in the backfield with him. Marino sidestepping pressure, goes long, has Duper complete to the 32-yard line.
Now, how Marino got that done? Duper broke the coverage. Duper's going to release up the field, and now you see the zone coverage slow down and stop. He runs it out and up, but how Marino got him that ball, because he had all kind of heat on him, and this is vintage Dan Marino. Now Richmond Webb's going to do his job on Jones. Fine job of shoving him past, using those 39-inch reaches, but now Dan Marino, how we saw that so late, and that's why he's one of the great all-time quarterbacks.
And of course, that combination of Clayton that he has not used yet is the best TV duo ever. Out of bounds to Duper.
But right over to Duper again with a play pass. Again, Dan is getting more pressure this year than I think he's ever had. 14 sacks against Dan Marino. But what I've noted in previous game tapes is he's throwing the ball far too soon, too often. His release is saving him, but he's throwing the ball prematurely far too often.
Well, that's self-preservation too, isn't it, Bill?
Darn right. And when we mentioned to him in the meeting, he looked at, you noticed he looked at me and says, really, you think so? And he sensed it. He hadn't even thought about it.
On second and 10. Off a roll, he hits Clayton, and a first down at the Houston 18.
Now that's well done. Nice call at that point on the field. You don't want to throw an out pattern inside the 30-yard line. The defenders play too tight. So Dan's going to sprint to his right. Clayton's going to lull, start, and then break. Now the ball's in the air. The ball's in the air already.
And for Mark Clayton, that catch extends his consecutive streak to 71 games, 73 counting playoffs, and a Miami record.
No matter how good Chris Dishman is, he couldn't have stopped that pattern. He just never saw the ball thrown.
Clayton, like Givens of Houston, from the University of Louisville. Smith. It was Jeff Alm, number 76, who caught him from behind, and then Sean Jones finished the job.
And Childress came from behind the play. They're not doing very well up front right at this moment. Now you're getting a double team on Jones, and he'll finally come off, but the ball should have been broken up inside earlier. But right across the front, Childress, Fuller, Smith, Jones dominated the line of scrimmage.
Smith, who had trouble against Kansas City, 5 rushes for only 8 yards today. He was booed in the pregame warm-ups by his home crowd. On second down. Incomplete. He was trying to hit his tight end Beatty, and it hit Lamar Lathan in the helmet.
It was just well covered. Dan wanted to go left to Duper. He couldn't get it done. He looked for Clayton. Then finally Beatty. Everybody was covered. It's that simple.
Beatty, who played at Stanford, has been around, originally drafted by New England in 1986, and Latham had his head in the right place on that one.
Just man-to-man right on that tight end, and Beatty tried to turn up the field late, but Latham just cut him off.
3rd and 9. Martin to the right, along with Pruitt, with Duper and Clayton. Now Clayton in motion on the left side. End zone incomplete. He had Pruitt open and threw it too tall.
Now those are the plays that Marino made in 1984 to take his team to the Super Bowl. In this case, the pattern was right. Everything is in good shape. Now you'll notice the ball is going to be thrown over his head. It's just too much for him to handle at that point on the field. And these are the kind of passes that Marino is missing this year, where in years past he would put right on the money. How do you explain it? I don't know, because he's healthy. He certainly wants to get the ball there.
35-yard attempt by Stojanovic is only missed from 58 for the early lead. And he's right down the middle, and the Dolphins, taking advantage of a Marino to Duper 39-yard pass, settled for 3 and the lead.
The explosive Fighting Irish have ignited the scoreboard in 1991, averaging over 40 points a game at home. Next Saturday, Lou Holtz and company battle the Trojans of Southern Cal in the nation's oldest intersectional rivalry. The Fighting Irish, USC. Notre Dame football is home on NBC.
Welcome back. There's Houston offensive coordinator Kevin Gilbride, former head coach at Southern Connecticut. He scripts a few of his plays, not as many as you did, Bill.
Well, 10 plays. He says he wants to change formations according to the hash mark to see what the defensive adjustments are. And basically, he's calling solid plays, but he wants to know as much as he can as early as he can in the game. This guy impresses me, Dick. He really does. Much like Mike Holmgren of the 49ers. He's bright, he's sharp, he's poised, and apparently he's very effective with Warren Moon. They have a great relationship.
Stojanovic into the end zone. Pat Coleman, former Mississippi star. The little guy trying to get outside. And Michael Magruder there first at the 23-yard line. A reminder tonight here on NBC, Real Life Adventures of Mark and Brian. They'll be singing with the Temptations, then Erie, Indiana, followed by Man of the People and Pacific Station, and the movie tonight at 9 o'clock. It'll be Barbara Eden and Bill Daly together again, and I Still Dream of Jeannie. That's tonight on NBC. So the Oilers, trailing Dan Marino and Miami 3-0, go to work at their own 23. Lorenzo White has replaced Pinkett as the running back.
Just a 5-man defensive front by Miami. They're inviting the run.
But Moon throws on first down underneath. Wide open Drew Hill. And Hill is out to the 45-yard line before Magruder pushes him out of bounds. 22 yards for the Oilers.
Again, I had mentioned that the people on the far side of the zone have to be looking for crossing receivers. And that time, Michael Magruder, number 28, was sitting in the zone on the far side of the field. And he left track of what's happening coming from across the other side of the field. You'll see the ball is completed. Now he finally finds it and comes back toward it, but by that time all the damage is done. You have to look for those crossing receivers in the zone.
And again underneath, and Gibbons drops the ball. He had running room in front of him.
Chris Green was beaten on that play. That was man-to-man, and it just wasn't going to be there. He had about 4 steps that he lost along the way.
C. Green can see red if that one had been caught and going the other way. Rookie from Illinois, a 7th-round pick.
But as soon as that was Drew Hill coming from that other side, Dick, and Hill's got beautiful moves. Of all the receivers on that Houston team, he's the guy that on one-on-one situations, he has those defensive backs from Houston. In practice, he can take them all apart.
Hill hasn't lost much at 36 years of age, the oldest Oiler. He's in the slot left. Lorenzo White hit by Green and others at midfield, a gain of about 6.
Well, believe it or not, Miami will take that 5-yard gain. They'll almost concede that to you to get Houston in a 3rd and 3 to 4 yard necessary yardage. They want this. because they can get tight coverage on the receivers and then hopefully stop a 3-yard run. This is where they want Houston.
5 times the granddaddy, Don Shula, has to be pleased so far. His team in a 3-0 lead, end of the first quarter at Joe Robbie.
This Heisman Trophy moment is brought to you by AT&T, the right choice. In 1973, Penn State's John Cavalletti brought the Downtown Athletic Club to tears when he dedicated his Heisman Trophy to his younger brother, Joey, who suffered from leukemia.
If I could dedicate this trophy to him tonight and give him a couple days of happiness, this is worth everything.
It's going to be a good week to keep in touch.
Remember the day at the ballpark when I hit the ball and ran and slid in the mud and I was big mud?
You had a crush on my brother?
Well, she reminds me so much of you.
AT&T Reunion Week starts this Monday, and it's just 11 cents a minute for an out-of-state call. Anywhere in the U.S. from 5 to 11 p.m. So what are you waiting for?
Hey, all right.
Just 11 cents a minute to reach anyone, anywhere, all week.
This is Milan Henelička, goaltender for the Czechoslovakian Olympic hockey team. He's taken hundreds of stitches, suffered 8 fractures, and has even been knocked unconscious. Yet he once went 11 consecutive periods without being scored on. But if you think it's tough to get something by him, wait till you see the guys at the ticket window if you don't have your Visa card. Because once again, the Olympics don't take American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Recently, this couple walked out of Little Caesars with extra pepperoni and extra cheese without paying for it. It's Lotsa, 2 pizzas with extra pepperoni and extra cheese for $8.98. It's a steal.
Lotsa.
Don Shula and the Dolphins with a 3-0 lead early after 1 quarter. And Bill Walsh, as you talked with Shula yesterday, I sensed a real empathy. Middle of the year, a 3-4 season. It wasn't all that comfortable in the room.
Not at all, because Don, 42-7, get blown out, beaten badly, humiliated. But the guy is so resourceful. That's why he's the greatest coach in the game today. This team has come back competitive this week, where yesterday I'd have thought, no way it can be competitive.
Yeah, he said that was the worst he can ever remember being beaten. Kansas City 42-7, and that was with the Chiefs letting up in the 4th period.
Well, he's got his team back, and at this point in the game, they're certainly playing head-to-head with Houston.
24 wins from the immortal George Halas's all-time NFL record of 325. And Dan Marino now with some photographs from upstairs, the defenses of the Oilers that he's studying. Meanwhile, it's Warren Moon in Houston with a ball at the Miami 49, 3rd and 4 as we open the 2nd quarter. Moon, incomplete. Drew Hill, a terrific tackle applied by Jarvis Williams, the safety man.
The ultimate in how you play the safety position. Now, they know they're only going to throw a pass that can get them 3 yards, but look at Williams. The ball's in the air. It's basically caught, but that shot right under the chin makes the difference. Now, there are 2 fine defensive players on the Miami side, and of course Jarvis Williams and Lewis Oliver at safeties.
Yep.
That's where the safety comes in. That's the Ronnie Lott kind of hit.
Both have had impact. Williams with that tackle and Oliver with the early interception. Montgomery handles a high snap and just gets it off, and a flag goes down as they ran into the kicker. The return is out to the 22-yard line by Jarvis Williams, but on the high snap, Montgomery hurrying to get the kickoff. One of the Dolphins ran into him. Here's Tom Dooley.
Let's see on this one. Because he was juggling the ball. The ball was not firmly in control, and the defender has carte blanche on the guy when he doesn't have control of that ball when he punts it.
Hugh Green is number 55. I believe it was Green in on the kicker.
Well, that was a high snap, out of position, terrible punt, and
5-yard penalty.
When they juggle the ball, Dick, they're carte blanche. You go for them. They're free game. Now you see from the top of the screen coming around the corner, and the only reason he's there is we didn't see it. The only reason he was there is because the ball was mishandled. Now against the Houston offense, Miami needs every break. And here's an automatic first down after the, all he needed was 4, and they got 5 on the penalty.
Montgomery saying he didn't exactly crush me, but he did make some contact, and from Dooley's angle, he calls it running into the kicker, 5 yards and a first down at the 44. Moon underneath again, and it's complete to little Ernest Gibbons. Ball was rolled dead, no fumble at the 34, and the fans unhappy again.
Again, Chris Green trying to cross with Gibbons man-to-man. And that's really a tough job because Gibbons is so quick. Green just lost the battle on the first couple of steps. Typically, if you want to stop a guy from crossing the middle, you get inside out on him and jam him at the line so he's late getting there. That time Gibbons had free access over the ball, and there's no way a play could be stopped.
Gibbons says, boy, I'd rather be doing this than what I thought I once was where I was headed, and that was in baseball. But in high school here in Florida, he faced a young right-hander named Dwight Gooden, who kind of blew a few fastballs by him, and he said, you know, I think football's safer and I might be more successful. And boy, what a model of consistency he has been. A rookie caught 61, then 53, 60, 55, last year 72, and he's on course again this year with 29 currently. First down again for the Oilers, who trail 3-0. White, the former Michigan State star, with flags down, is inside the 20, but that flag in a spot where you suspect holding against Houston.
That time Matthews at center and Munchak at left guard did a beautiful job of blocking. They just walled people out. There was a
73 offense, first down.
There was a hole there that any back, you and I might have had a chance to make a couple of yards on that one. You know, you talked about Ernest Gibbons. He weighed 125 pounds coming out of high school. Of course, with that weight, the only thing you could do would be to be a featherweight boxer. And so consequently, he had to go to junior college in northeastern Oklahoma before going to Louisville. But 125 pounds, you'd never suspect he'd finally be a Pro Bowl football player.
Didn't give up on himself. Another man is the fellow throwing the ball to him. Warren Moon will chronicle that story. After the holding call against David Williams from the 44, 1st and 20, flags are down. Moon intercepted by Bobby Harden. Harden at the 45, out of bounds at the Houston 47. And I believe it was motion against Houston, and the interception then would count.
All Harden did was back straight up and stand there. Now, he was going to protect against crossing receivers. He was going to be the guy, the enforcer, right in the middle of the field, and Moon didn't see him. He just threw the ball right to Harden. That's two passes now.
Gibbons left the line of scrimmage prematurely.
Now, you'll see the movement at the top of the screen. Both guys will jump start, and the ball hasn't been snapped. But you'll see Harden just backing up, backing up. Now the ball's thrown 10 yards behind him, and he's right in the middle of the field.
Second interception for the Dolphins, who lead at 3-0.
The white zone is for immediate.
We didn't design the new Mazda MX-3 to be like apple pie. Jalapenos were what we had in mind. Because if something's not worth having an opinion about it, it's not worth having. And with the only V6 in its class, the MX-3 is one hot chili pepper. Hey, you're not John Doe. Why drive his car? The new MX-3 from the new Mazda.
It just feels right!
Ah, a new arrival. A tire so special, it may last as long as you own your car. The new XH4. Congratulations, it's a Michelin. Backed by an 80,000-mile treadwear limited warranty. Michelin. Because so much is riding on your tires.
Inside your smooth-running engine is a torture chamber. And under these grueling conditions, only one leading motor oil meets the world's toughest requirements for viscosity breakdown. Castrol, the only leading motor oil that provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. So use Castrol. Why make things tougher on your engine? Castrol, engineered for today's smaller cars. Try Super Clean from Castrol, the industrial strength cleaner and degreaser.
Attention Murphy Brown fans. This Monday night, Murphy Brown is a repeat. Look what NBC has instead. Danielle Steele's bestsellers. Lee Horsley in Palomino. Patrick Duffy and Linda Carter in Daddy. Two of Danielle Steele's hottest. Palomino Monday, Daddy Wednesday, both on NBC.
It's a displeased Warren Moon at his start today. 5 out of 12 and 2 intercepted. Bobby Harden getting the interception to move the ball to the Houston 48. Marino guns it downfield. Incomplete, intercepted by Bubba McDowell of Houston. And McDowell with blockers is back to the 47-yard line. So successive plays, interceptions, and Houston has it back.
That was as tough a throw as you'd ever attempt to make. Marino had to throw over one defender's head and between two other ones to get the play to work. Now look underneath. Wide open people. Now look at, he had people under him and bracketed on both sides.
Al Smith was the man who deflected it.
Meanwhile, Higgs was just wide open underneath. Dan could have gotten his easy first down. It's just forcing that ball in there.
But he did that even when he was sensational, throwing 48 touchdown passes from his rookie year. Defenses have always said he'll force it in there.
Yeah, I guess so. But just not getting it done now. It's too bad.
Moon to Lorenzo White. And White breaking tackles down to the Miami 46-yard line from sunny Florida. Let's go to New York and Bob.
And then quickly inside to the Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis, where the 0-7 Colts quickly fall behind the Jets. Razzle-dazzle, Johnny Hector with the handoff, then the pitch back to Ken O'Brien. The Colt defense bites. Rob Moore wide open, 47-yard touchdown. Dean Biasucci thereafter kicked a field goal for the Colts, so it's 7-3 Jets, Dick.
All right, Bob, the Jets and Miami both at 3 and 4. Such a critical game. You don't want to go to the mid-season break. They have byes next week, 3 and 5. On second and short, it's White tackled at the line of scrimmage by Jeff Cross, the star from Missouri, Pro Bowler last year, along with John Offerdahl of Miami. Of course, Offerdahl lost for the season with that knee
Cross
injury.
just comes right off Flannery's block and just breaks to the outside. That's Munchak's block. And I thought Munchak could get better control, but Cross just came right off the block to the ball. It's just one man beats the other. It's that simple.
Jeff, you look at that picture of him. He says a lot of people mistake him for Bo Jackson as the look-alike. Third down, 2.5. Timeout called by the Dolphins. At the 11:43 mark on a critical 3rd and short, they did not like the defense they had on the field.
Remember our whatchamacallit?
We're here. Oh, check it out. Great. Hi.
How about that thingamajig? And that doohickey? At Lake you know who.
Bring the fish. I caught this one.
Look at that. With what's her names?
You'll never forget your big moments with the new UC1.
Nice catch, Dad.
It's the smallest, slimmest Canon 8mm camcorder yet.
Oh, hi, Dad.
What you call the who's or what's it?
The Canon UC1. You see one, you want one.
A safe journey. That's what it's all about out there on the road. So, of course, that's an important goal at Mazda. As we introduce the first of 5 new cars that improve your sense of control, that are stronger but not heavier, even one with dual airbags already built in. 5 new cars just as pure and personal as the Mazda Miata. Drive safely.
The power of untapped, untouched potential. At GTE, we'll put that power in your hands with a new generation of precision materials. It's the power to make your products faster, stronger, more efficient, and to bring breakthrough ideas to life. We're giving it to others. We can give it to you. The power of a new manufacturing edge. Because at GTE, the power is on.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by the new Mazda. Mazda, it just feels right. By Xerox, the document company. By Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires. And by GTE. At GTE, the power is on.
No wonder Miami didn't like the defense.
There are 10 men. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How am I doing? 7, 8, 9, 10. And it appears that a cornerback was missing from that alignment because this is a linebacker. I think that's Green. And so they had a disaster looking at him, and E.J. Jr. spotted it.
So the Oilers go at it, third and a short 3. Moon going deep. Tony Jones, the intended receiver, the little 140-pounder from Texas. He was a half step shy. Michael Magruder on the coverage.
Warren Moon wanted Drew Hill in the flat. That's who he wanted. Hill was in the flat. He looked to his outside left and then finally had to go back down the middle and take a shot because it was 3rd down and 3. Now this ball is about 2 feet overthrown, but 3rd and 3, Warren Moon wanted a short pass in the flat that was extremely well covered.
So Moon's problems continue. 5 for 14. Jarvis Williams back as Greg Montgomery. Recall his last punt. The Dolphins ran into him. Sends this one toward the corner, and it'll go well into the end zone.
You know, Dick, I'm really, as an observer, really discouraged by the punters in the National Football League. Roby kicked one 20 yards out of the end zone. Montgomery just kicks it clearly out of the end zone. And I know in practice they work on kicking out of bounds, rolling the ball down, but they simply just go for the average and kick it clear out of the end zone.
On our ITT 10-minute ticker, New Orleans builds its lead. Seattle jumps in front by 10 in the second at Pittsburgh. The Jets, as you just saw, 7-3 over Indianapolis, and Minnesota has tied the Patriots. Here it's 3-0 Miami. 11:28 remaining in the first half. A reminder at the conclusion of today's game, we'll be presenting the Avis We Try Harder Award given to the game's MVP. Little Mark Higgs drilled at the line of scrimmage. Higgs, who started so well, remember the game in Buffalo to open the season was around 150 yards. Doug Smith outweighing Higgs by more than 100, dropped him at the 20.
Smith just waded through that entire offensive line. Wedner and Ulenik had a shot at him. He just took them right with him to the ball. Boy, is he a force now. And you wouldn't have thought that a year ago. But he's got his weight down. He's active. He's intense.
Full sun now. The heat is on here in Miami. 2nd and 10. Quick throw to the tight end Beatty, who struggles to the 29. Ball ruled dead. No fumble. It's been whistled dead. Orlando and McDowell in on the tackle.
Orlando assaulted Beatty. When Beatty was tackled, Orlando just went for him like he was going to club him. Again, they blitzed in this case. You'll see people, 2 linebackers coming straight up the middle. And Marino still gets the ball away to his hot receiver, so to speak, Beatty.
Why don't you explain the hot receiver in layman's terms?
You haven't figured that out, Dick?
Well, I think I have, but maybe if you said it, it would just reinforce it.
Well, typically, there aren't enough blockers for the pass rushers, so some receiver has to be alert to that and look quickly, because you can always bring more defenders than you have blockers. Now,
so on every
play, that for next week.
On every play, one receiver knows that he's a hot receiver if there's a blitz.
If you don't have enough blockers in position to get the job done.
Putting it together.
If you needed to put together a lot of information into a finished document of the highest copy quality, copy on both sides, reduce, enlarge, insert tabs, add covers, and make 12 perfectly bound booklets all in about 10 minutes, then there's only one copier that can do the job. The Xerox 5090, the way to put it together. Faxing, scanning, copying, printing. Xerox, the document company.
When her car needed a new battery, you got the heavy-duty model. When the tires started to wear, you spent a little more for the good ones. And even though the brakes could have made it a while longer, you said replace them. And now that fall's here, you're using Prestone Antifreeze. Its patented formula exceeds every performance standard set for the antifreeze industry. For corrosion and freeze-up protection, Prestone, we make it better than we have to. For some very good reasons.
The white zone is for immediate.
We didn't design the new Mazda MX-3 to be like apple pie. jalapenos were what we had in mind. Because if something's not worth having an opinion about, it's not worth having. And with the only V6 in its class, the MX-3 is one hot chili pepper. Hey, you're not John Doe. Why drive his car? The new MX-3 from the new Mazda.
It just feels right!
58% of business travelers change their plans at least once. No problem. Call 1-800-HOLIDAY. Holiday Inn. Stay with someone you know who really knows you.
Back in Miami, and a reminder, stay tuned at halftime for the Domino's Pizza halftime report. And Bill Walsh, I'm sure this week you've been asked at least 49 times what's wrong with San Francisco, and Bill will share that information with you at halftime. Niners take on Detroit today, late game. Here it's 3rd and 1. Marino, after using the second Miami timeout, gives to Higgs. He has a first down. Former Kentucky star to the 34.
That was all Higgs, because the penetration up front by Houston was going to just eliminate the chance of making the first down. Look at them come across the line. There's nothing there. So they have to come outside. That time Childers penetrated by a yard across the line. So Higgs instinctively bounced it.
Higgs is only 5'7", but he has a lower body. His thighs, his legs would be a 230-pound back, and he uses them well. He leads Miami almost 500 yards rushing this year, and with that run he's over 500. On first down play action, Marino has time, wide open. Beatty fumbles, and it is recovered by home. Miami might have gotten in late. Houston had it for a moment. They do. Beatty hit hard in the open field, and Bo Orlando was the man who recovered.
The last guy on the team that should fumble is the tight end. And Beatty, the ball's knocked out. He acts as though he's not familiar with carrying a ball. The ball is knocked loose from behind. And typically the tight end has got to have strong hands and have both hands on the ball at all times, because he can be hit by anybody. A linebacker coming in from behind, a safety from in front of him. They have to control the ball. It's that simple. And that really hurt, because they'd set that play up with a running play. They faked. Beatty was wide open, and he has the ball simply knocked out of his hands.
So the turnovers now even, an interception and a fumble recovery for the Oilers. A couple of pass interceptions by the Dolphins. And it's Moon at the Miami 49, trailing 3-0 with 9:10 left in the half.
Well, all hell can break loose pretty quick here with the Houston offense. You just can't give them these kind of breaks.
Moon, the quickie to Haywood Jeffries, his first catch. J.B. Brown makes the initial hit for Miami at the 42. Jeffries, who leads the NFL with 40 catches coming in. Well, Houston, a couple of interceptions and a couple of punts as the Dolphin defense playing above their numbers in the first 7 games of the year.
No huddle. Houston's right up, no huddle. They want that same defense on the field. They didn't want Miami to substitute.
Come on, D.
Oh, don't wait.
Lorenzo Wright has a first down at the 36-yard line.
I believe it was Magruder sitting on the outside as a cornerback. Should have attacked that play, and he sat back there and waited to see Houston get the first down. You have to attack. Now watch from the top of the left-hand side of the screen. The cornerback isn't there. He's not there. He's not there. Look at him sitting back there waiting. And you just can't play football that way. That's letting everybody else down. You've got to attack the guy with the ball. And of course, Bessie Jackson is not starting regularly, but Michael Magruder is going to have to play more aggressively than that.
First down at the 36. Moon intercepted again. Lewis Oliver has his second. A flag is down, however. The linesman on the near side has thrown a flag. Let's see if it counts. It does.
What a bad throw. And Warren Moon is as good as they get. I guess you can have a bad day, and he's still got plenty of time to come back. But 3 throws today. He's looking left. Now he just at the last second, throws it up for grabs. Now, he's so sure that his receivers can get the job done. In this case, Gibbons, that maybe he's looking for the spectacular catch, but he just turned him through. And Miami, fortunately, has safety sitting back there, and they see the ball coming. It's like catching a fly ball in center field.
Boone, who had one other bad day this year, that was at New England when he was ill. 24-20 Patriots with an upset, and he's not been good thus far in the first half. 6 for 15.
Just reckless, Dick.
3 interceptions in the half. He's been intercepted only 6 times in the first 6 games. The throw, Clayton can't make the spectacular catch, covered by Chris Dishman, and Clayton thought Dishman had bumped him.
Clayton ran an out and up. He started up at about 10 yards. He bent out like it was going to be an out pattern. Dishman's known to take chances and go for the interception. So you see the out move start, and Dishman thought he could go for the interception, but who's to say? He had his arm out and sort of controlling his man. Now, Dan Marino had some heat. You see that heat coming from up the field. He finally had to throw it. Now, 1, 2, 3 guys hit him as he throws the ball.
One of them, Sean Jones, who played at Northeastern, played with the Raiders before traded to Houston, and he's still matched up against that young tackle, Richmond Webb. The give to Higgs, fumbles the ball, and Sean Jones picks it up. Now they're marking it as down. No fumble.
That was tight. That front four, the front four from Houston, is penetrating, getting a penetration to the point that the pulling guards and other people just can't get on track. Now you see the penetration from the backside. He's down and the ball comes out. But look at the number of blue shirts around him. They're coming from everywhere. People aren't getting blocked.
2 yards in the play. 3rd and 8. Miami has only 15 yards rushing. Out of the shotgun. Marino to Clayton, incomplete, intercepted, picked off by the rookie Darrell Lewis, and Lewis has a touchdown. $33 yards for the Oilers as they take the lead. Their 5th return recovery touchdown this year. They lead the NFL.
Well, both quarterbacks, for all their greatness, they'll be in the Hall of Fame, are forcing the ball. Look at this coverage. It's right there. And everybody comes breaking toward the ball once it's thrown, and Lewis happened to be there. The ball just slid into his hands. But the coverage is too tight. I mean, the percentages are so against the quarterback when he throws to a man that's so tightly covered.
Boy, it was Chris Dishman who was reaching in to break up the pass, and then Lewis, a spectator, able to pick it off and go 33 for the touchdown, and now Ian Hofield for the extra point. And he lines it through. It's 7-3 Houston. What a day for Darrell Lewis, the number 2 pick from Arizona, his first NFL score.
A safe journey. That's what it's all about out there on the road. So, of course, that's an important goal at Mazda. As we introduce the first of 5 new cars that improve your sense of control, that are stronger but not heavier, even one with dual airbags already built in. 5 new cars just as pure and personal as the Mazda Miata. Drive safely.
From the Far East to Europe. Across the Caribbean and throughout North America, only one airline covers so much of the world with so much warmth.
It was a good day for ideas. Plans for a sidewalk cafe were finalized. A river walk was proposed. And someone had the vision to bring luxury and romance back to train travel. Keep those ideas coming, and we'll keep making them look their best. LaserJet printers from Hewlett-Packard.
Hoop it up.
the nation's best playground players take it to the street. It's the biggest grassroots 3-on-3 basketball event in the nation. The Pizza Hut Pepsi Hoop It Up National Finals. Next Saturday on NBC.
Back in Miami, and a quick look at the ITT 10-minute ticker. New Orleans now up by 13, and Seattle trying to go 4-4 after a tough loss last Monday night to the Raiders. Has the lead, as do the Jets now build to 14-3 against hapless Indianapolis. Ian Howfield with Houston up 7-3, bounces it over Aaron Craver's head, and now Craver, the rookie from Fresno State, downs it in the end zone just in time as the Oilers rushing downfield for a possible cheap one. Time for our Xerox Sports Facts. Who holds the single season record for passing yards in the Canadian Football League? American holds that honor. Single season record passing yards in the CFL. Of course, Warren Moon for 6 years a star in Edmonton as Edmonton won 5 Grey Cup championships. Think it's him, Bill?
Well, you're leading me on a little bit, Dick.
Well, would I lead you astray?
Upstage me again. You got me.
The give is to Higgs, runs into his own blocker and manufactures a couple of yards.
I'll tell you that
Jones there.
That front four, I keep saying it, that this is the big difference between Houston a year ago and now. Jones in particular, but the entire group. They're just stuffing the offensive line of Miami. It's that simple, including Richmond Webb in this particular, to this point in the game. But Jones is so active. That 6'7" means excellent leverage. Those 39-inch arms individually means leverage, and that's what he gets.
Second down 8. Tony Page, the fullback, gets 4 yards to the 26, bringing up 3rd and 4. Our answer to the Xerox Sports Fact.
I'm sure it's Warren Moon. I'm just positive.
No, Bill. No. Don't be so positive. It used to be Warren Moon until just this year. Doug Flutie, the former Patriot, former Bear, 5,676 yards for Flutie, playing with the British Columbia Lions, and Moon called Flutie. They chatted this week. Warren is one of the gracious guys in the game with his congratulations. 3rd and 4, shotgun Marino. Incomplete. Good coverage again. Intended for Jensen. Marcus Robertson, 31, the rookie from Iowa State, deflecting the ball.
Dan is too concerned about the pass rush at this time, and maybe he should be, but he has been all year. 14 sacks, rushing the ball. In this case, his eyes came off of his receivers to the pass rushers, and you can't do that as a quarterback. That's why the late throws, the errant throws to covered receivers, but they're just not in sync pass offense-wise. Neither team today are.
Ernest Givens back as Roby delivers a beautiful booming spiral. Givens all the way back to his 9. And tripped up as he crosses the 25-yard line by Lewis Cooper. Let's go to New York in this update.
Stop the presses, Dick. Here's a play you couldn't live without. Yes, it's your basic 1-yard touchdown run off right tackle by John L. Williams, set up for Seattle after Barry Foster fumbled for Pittsburgh in Steeler territory, and the Seahawks lead 10-0 in Pittsburgh. Dick.
All right, Bob, and here Reggie Roby with his longest kick of the year, 64 yards. His booming spiral, his longest ever, 77, but that one really drilled.
Well, it's too bad, though, Dick. I don't want to be extra critical, but why didn't he kick the ball out of bounds when he's kicking into the end zone in the first quarter?
Moon on the screen to Lorenzo White. Tackle, fumbles the ball, and Miami recovers. Bobby Harden fell on the ball. The tackle from behind. E.J. Jr. forced it free.
This is the screen pass that the run and shoot is made so effective. You see the ball thrown. There should be linemen in front of it. But the pursuit from the backside by Jeff Cross totally broke the play up. Cross made the difference, and of course Junior got in to make the stop, and then the ball of course was recovered, but Cross got it started. Cross got it started. Now that screen has been tearing people apart, and Miami had it defense perfectly.
Wow, maybe it was the early rain, but 6 turnovers in the first half, 3 aside, 7-3 Houston. Marino sets up at the Oiler 28. Higgs to the 23, 4 hard-earned yards by the little guy from Kentucky. Johnny Meads, the tackler.
You remember Higgs, Dick, in that first game of the year we did with Buffalo, how I think he gained over 150 yards in a losing cause, but he's the one guy on this offensive unit that can bounce the play. Houston is dominating inside, but Higgs is able, when he sees it or feels it, to slide and bounce outside.
Second and 6. Marino has a man. Complete first down at the 13 to Tony. Check that. It's Mark Duper with a catch.
Steve Jackson, the cornerback, saw a fake and just didn't respond. Now you see Jackson on the right of the screen, and he's just not even close. He thought it was a running play, and he just didn't really account for the ball being thrown out there that quickly.
Jackson, the rookie from Purdue, a 3rd-round pick this year, replacing the injured Richard Johnson. So Marino and Miami figured to work against him. The Dolphins' deepest penetration. Marino now has 100 yards passing in this first half, 8 out of 17. Whoops, nicks up, and Marino eats it at the 19. Sean Jones there to touch him down.
Tony Page was at a slot back on the left, and he came to the right. So there was some kind of a special play they were about to run, and who's to say somebody went in the wrong direction, because here's Tony coming this way. He's not looking for the ball. He wants to block somebody, and you'll see there isn't anybody to throw the ball to or hand it to. Now 3 points isn't going to do much for Miami here. I think anybody could figure that one out. They've got to get 7 because Houston's just too prolific an offensive team to figure they're not going to score again.
Miami's done a good job in that red zone inside the 20. 2nd and long. Marino might have been deflected at the line of scrimmage by Sean Jones. It was intended for Duper in the flat, but it seemed to change direction as Jones came in with that 6'7" height and those long arms to block the ball.
Jones wanted to squeeze Marino from the outside, and he's going to come from the right side of the screen and be in Marino's face with hands up. But what was that pass called for in the first place? That was a 7-yard out pattern, and they had 15 yards to go. It wasn't going to do a thing for them. And that was sort of the easy way out for Miami at that point. There has to be something that would get a bigger chunk of yardage that you would at least attempt.
Now shotgun. Thrown. Intercepted. It hit 3 different sets of hands, and Bubba McDowell has his 2nd interception today. McDowell of the Oilers, number 25, number 25 for Miami. Louis Oliver, each with 2 interceptions in the half.
Well, you can hear the crowd. I don't blame them. If I were down there with them, I'd be doing the same thing. Now, those balls are just being forced in there. The last play was a bad call, no question about it, that quick out. Now, look at the number of people. There's a man underneath the receiver. There's not a chance that ball could be completed. And that's the 3rd time Dan has thrown that kind of a pass.
What a play by Bo Orlando. Behind the play, sees the ball deflected, and just volleyballs it to his teammate for the interception. And Houston stops Miami again.
There's 3 guys around that ball, and it was thrown in there. That's just a lack of confidence or something on the part of Miami.
But is anyone open? It just seems like every time Marino throws, there are blue jerseys double teaming each receiver.
Well, no question about it. But you'll see look at the number, 4 people in 1 receiver. Now you'd want 1 receiver, but not 4 defenders. That's the 2nd deflected ball for an interception, which means everybody's getting a jump on the ball and going toward it when it's thrown.
3 interceptions today. That makes a dozen for the year. The improved Oiler defense. Approaching the 2-minute mark, first half. Houston 7, Miami 3. That might have been deflected and then dropped by Jones, and it's just as well. It wouldn't have gained much.
Briggs was right in the face of Moon, right in his face, and got his hands up. So both teams are alert to those quick three-step drop passes, and the defensive ends are pushing into their blocker, then ready to jump to block the ball when it's thrown. Really strange to see two quarterbacks having terrible days on the field at the same time.
Two great quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Did he get back? Apparently. I don't see a flag. And Moon goes down. Jeff Cross, his third sack of the year.
It appears that Houston feels all they have to do is show up to win. Moon's going to try a deep crossing pattern to Hill. Look how long he holds the ball.
Boy, Cross did a great job. 3 different Houston blockers had a piece of him. He finally split that defense and records his third sack. That's only the 7th time all year. 6th time that Warren Moon's gone down. 2-minute timeout.
Liberty Mutual Insurance presents Legends of the Game. He was a member of the original fearsome foursome. A Phi Beta Kappa in college, he relied on brain power as much as brute strength to excel in the NFL. He played in a record 14 straight Pro Bowl games and was named to the team of the decade for the 60s. Who was this legend?
The accident took my arm, and I thought my job. I just couldn't do what I used to. So Liberty Mutual gave me a Boston elbow. Its power and flexibility gave me back the ability to do my job, which gives me back the ability to pick up a paycheck.
Merlin Olsen helped to glamorize an unglamorous craft and was elected to the Hall of Fame, a true legend of the game.
There you are, an upper respiratory wreck. And there they are, NyQuil and a look-alike.
It may not be NyQuil, but it's cheaper. The thing is with NyQuil, you know you won't be up tonight coughing and sneezing, and you gotta rest. You're being paranoid. This is probably made by Vicks. Here it is in teeny print. It's not made by Vicks. This may be cheaper, but I'm not taking any chances.
NyQuil, the only nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head fever so you can rest medicine made by Vicks.
Also available in new liquid caps.
1990 Kentucky Derby winner Unbridled. 1991 Derby winner Strike the Gold. They stand in the way of In Excess and Festine in the race for Horse of the Year. The Breeders' Cup, the most important day in thoroughbred racing. November 2nd on NBC.
Back at noisy Joe Robbie Stadium on the IT 10-minute ticker. New Orleans trying to go 7-0. And Leonard Russell has just scored for New England to take a 14-10 lead. Warren Moon from his own 2-yard line. Flags down. And incomplete to Lorenzo White. It appeared to be illegal motion against the Houston left tackle, Don Maggs. And if so, of course, it'll be declined by Miami. That'll be a dead ball foul if indeed it is against Maggs, pulling off the line of scrimmage, and they'll play it again after a 1-yard penalty, half the distance to the goal line.
Well, that's the crowd noise. Maggs did not hear the snap count. That noise is right behind him, caught in the end of the field with people, everybody surrounding you, probably 20,000 people screaming. There he moves, because he cannot hear Warren Moon at this point.
That's the kind of noise that used to benefit Miami when they played in the Orange Bowl. Players have talked about the fact that only on rare exceptions do they get that kind of noise support here at Joe Robbie. Bigger stadium, farther from the crowd.
Well, that Orange Bowl was tough. You were right on top of the crowd, or they were on top of you. The metal stands in the Orange Bowl, and the people would stomp. It would scare the hell out of you.
Well, you didn't do so badly there. You rallied thanks to that Joe Montana drive. Super Bowl championship in your final game. 3rd and 20 from the 1-yard line, and here comes the crowd. Lorenzo White out to the 10. That'll give them some punting room. And with 1:53, Don Shula on the opposite sidelines from Jack Pardee will use a timeout. They get it at the 1:52 mark with a punt from Houston upcoming.
Most of my friends don't know what they're going to do after graduation, but I've already locked in guaranteed skill training in the Army. Qualify now and you can reserve even the Army's most sought-after technical training up to 12 months in advance through the Army's delayed entry program. Sure, being a soldier won't be easy, but then nothing worth having ever is.
55-year-old Jack Pardee, a great linebacker at Texas A&M. He came out of a small Texas town that played six-man football. A top player, Pro Bowler with the Los Angeles Rams, Washington Redskins, 15 years in the league as a linebacker. Wore number 32 as a teammate of Deacon Jones and Merlin Olsen, Maxie Vaughn with the Rams.
Well, he's come into Houston and given the team an ethic. Just turned the team around as far as what the priorities were. Pardee brought the win or loss record instead of the attention-seeking stuff that was going on before.
Montgomery under pressure, a flag down, and the kicker gets off a good one. All the way back to the 28. Scott Miller, the rookie from UCLA, gets a block. And he's brought down at the 37-yard line, and now we'll check the penalty flag. Eugene Seal made the hit, 62 yards for Montgomery, and that would be his longest by far, by 12 yards this year. It's against Houston. They may make him kick again.
What a difference. That was a perfectly executed play other than the infraction by Houston. A beautiful punt, great coverage, and they really got themselves out of a hole, but here they are again now being backed up.
So 5 yards, they'll take it to the 5-yard line. Both Montgomery and Roby with their top punts of the year.
Well, Coach Smith is when he gets an excellent play like that, oh gee, I'd hate to record those remarks.
Well, your kicker just explodes one for you. By far the best of the season.
In his own end zone.
And you wonder if he can repeat that. Scott Miller will stand at the Miami 45. And the Dolphins undoubtedly will put pressure on Montgomery. 10 men on the line of scrimmage. Houston leading 7-3. 1:39 left in the half. This one's much shorter. Miller on the run comes up to the 50. 40. 35-yard line. What a difference that 5-yard penalty made.
Scott Miller did an excellent job of feeling his way up the field. He took one coverage man on at a time, made him miss, and just worked his way up the field.
That penalty was 28 yards. The difference in where Miami had the ball, the first kick and this one.
And especially, Dick, with 129.5 in the timeout situation as it is.
Miami having none left.
Right, and Miami now has a real shot at it. Now let's see if Dan Marino can have a little more touch on his passes, be a little, believe it or not, I never thought I'd say this, but be a little more poised in getting his job done.
Uses the shotgun from the 34 of Houston. Plenty of time and off the fingertips of Mark Clayton. Chris Dishman, who is having an all-pro year at that left corner with good coverage once again. And Dishman is playing with a hamstring pull.
Dishman's one of those real coy cornerbacks that take a chance from time to time. And he takes tapes home at night. What a different guy as to his dedication to the game.
Used to take him home and then record over him.
Yeah, get TV shows from him. Now he studies them. He's come up with all these turnovers from week to week.
Second down. Underneath, Tony Martin. Good move by Martin. Clock is running now, and Miami, because it used 2 timeouts earlier in the half, and then one here in the final 2 minutes have no way to stop the clock except by incomplete pass. That's not a first down, so it's 3rd and 1. There's your first down to Jim Jensen at the 20. Stolen away by Dishman, and look at how quick he was again. And that was a quick whistle. Oh,
now
my.
They should be stopping the clock at this point. Whenever that ball's taken that distance, they stop the clock until they get the ball back.
That's a good point, and Marino was appealing just that point.
They were going to let it run. What if he'd have run to out the tunnel with it? I mean, you have to stop the clock if that ball doesn't. One of the officials doesn't have access to the ball. You have to stop the clock.
Now let's see. There it is. Jensen not down as Dishman, as they double teamed. No review apparently. So Marino guns to Clayton for a touchdown. Mark Clayton, Miami leads. Clayton's 5th touchdown reception of the season, and the veteran from Louisville hooking up with Dan Marino for another Dolphin score, and it's 9-7 after a play that appeared to be a steal by Dishman, not allowed. Stoyanovich with the extra point. 39 seconds left in the half. Miami by 3.
This is a commercial for this clever little portable CD player from Magnavox, the inventors of CD technology. I'm sorry, actually, this is a commercial for the ingenious Magnavox 13-inch TV with a built-in VCR. I'm sorry, this is really a commercial for this brilliant 52-inch TV with 100-watt Dolby surround sound. I'm sorry, wrong again. This is supposed to be a commercial for this Magnavox 386 notebook computer. Hang on, we haven't finished. Oh, I'm sorry.
The ingenious products from Magnavox. They're smart, very smart.
Now this is an interesting pattern. You're going to see a shallow cross right here to pull these people forward, and then you're going to see Clayton break into the middle in front of both of these safeties, and Marino's going to throw the ball right on a line to him. There's the shallow cross, pull the defenders forward. There's Clayton right in behind him.
And he beat Dishman on the play after Dishman, who might still have been arguing and thinking about the play preceding the touchdown, where Dishman on a very quick whistle denied what would have been a steal.
Well, it was purely a zone defense, and that's just what Dan Marino needed. Both safeties, by the way, were in their own end zone. You'd wonder about that, because they should be trying to stop people from getting to the end zone.
Well, Miami, that's the first offensive touchdown of the half. The Houston score coming on Darrell Lewis's 33-yard touchdown on an interception. A short drive of 34 after the punt and punt return of Scott Miller. So a series of breaks there for Miami to lead to the Dolphin lead. And now Stoyanovich to kick to Pinkett and Brown. The veteran Alan Pinkett. And he's to the 27-28-yard line. Let's check our ITT 10-minute ticker. New Orleans now 16-0. The Saints with Morton Anderson 3 field goals today. Seattle still up 10-0 shutout working at Pittsburgh. The Jets see Indianapolis kick a field goal to shorten their lead, and New England at the half still by 4 over the Vikings. Domino Pizza halftime NFL Live report coming up. Bob and the gang will analyze the scores and top plays of the early games today as Warren Moon with 32 seconds left in the half. He gives to Alan Pinkett. And Pinkett out to the 38-39 line. Houston has some timeouts. Will they use them? Now with 23 seconds left in the half. Jack Pardee. A quiet man. There could not be a greater contrast in coaches than Pardee now, and the man that left Houston to go to Atlanta, Jerry Glanville.
It's a stark contrast from one end of the scale way over to the other end of the scale. The players were in a state, apparently in a state of shock. You talk to people like Jeffries and some of these others, they couldn't believe what was demanded of them immediately upon the previous coach leaving. Just a total change. And the emphasis is strictly on winning football games. It's productivity.
Well, you were called a taskmaster as well. The detail was very important to you. Some of your players didn't like that early on.
Well, I tell you, this guy, Jack Pardee, is the ideal man for the job, and he's brought discipline in a sense. I don't mean disciplining someone by sending them to their room. I mean that people paid attention to detail and refined the skills that they have and brought order to the team. You know, at one time, it was like a sideshow, Dick,
well,
if
they
you
called
recall.
it, the players, several called it a circus.
Just ridiculous. The bottom line is to win. That's all that matters in professional football.
2 timeouts left for Houston. 23 seconds starting from the 39. Pinkett again as Miami defending the pass. Warren Moon hasn't called time yet, and finally, after about 4 or 5 seconds had expired, another timeout used by Houston at the 45-yard line.
Now Warren has lost about 12 seconds by being late calling his timeouts. It looks as though he's looking to the sideline for them to decide whether a timeout should be called.
Well, Jack Pardee, a little heavier than he played at 6'3" and about 235 with the Rams. I was privileged to call many of the games in which Jack Pardee played. Here, Johnny Unitas throws, and Pardee, he could get back there for a linebacker, and as a former college fullback as well, knew how to run the ball. He scored 5 touchdowns as a linebacker in his NFL career. See Deacon Jones, 75, Erland Olsen, 74. They're blocking for him, and he was always, as he is now, understated, quiet, solid, strong, but there was a toughness about him that everyone around felt. I mean, somehow when Pardee did it by example, everyone was want to follow.
He knows his football too. I mean, he's knows football. It's that simple. He's not on the sideline trying to attract attention to himself. He's getting his job done.
2nd and 4 with just a dozen seconds left for Moon. Underneath to Givens, and Givens gets out of bounds at the 39-yard line with 4 seconds left.
Well, I mentioned about 12 seconds that Warren Moon lost in calling his timeouts. Now, if they had those 12 seconds at this point, one completed pass would mean a field goal.
At the 39-yard line, it would be about a 56-yard attempt for Ian Howfield, and that would seem out of his range. So Givens shaken up a bit as he struggled to get out of bounds. That play reminded me of another awful moment a year ago when it was Bo Jackson struggling with a tackler on his leg, and that created that hip injury that, at least for the moment, has cost Jackson his dual career. And Givens in the same position, all the weight of a tackle on him. He's trying to get out of bounds, but does not appear to be seriously hurt.
Same position of the tackler and ball carrier.
Moon held to 84 passing yards here in the first half, and that's about as well as you can deflate the run and shoot.
Good defense, excellent defense, but also Warren Moon. I guess you call these off days. Of course, he's got 30 minutes. He could throw for 300 yards in the second half.
Boy, Bill, good news and bad news for the Irish of Notre Dame. Last night at the Air Force Academy against a game Falcon team. Notre Dame goes 6-1 with a win, 28-15, but what a costly defeat it was, as they'll go into the traditional encounter with Southern California's Trojans next Saturday at 1 o'clock, playing without 2 of their defensive tackles. Eric Jones, a broken leg in the first half, and perhaps their best defensive player, Bryant Young, with a broken leg in the second half, at a position where Lou Holtz already was very, very thin.
Could have been any other position on that Notre Dame team.
Howfield apparently will try the 56-yard field goal. It's up, but it's not nearly long enough, and lands just at the end line of the end zone, off to the right, no good. So in a first half filled with errors on both sides, Dan Marino gets a touchdown throw to Mark Clayton for the only score by the offense, and Miami's Dolphins, desperate in a critical game for a win, have the lead. Now to Domino's halftime NFL report.
This is the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report. Brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Nobody knows like Domino's how you like pizza at home.
Okay, Bob Costas back with OJ and Bill Parcells. The game you're watching, Miami with the 10-7 lead over Houston. And we'll start with you, Juice. Your thoughts?
Well, I tell you, only thing I can believe is that the two quarterbacks are having trouble with the similarities and colors of the uniform because they've both been horrible. I mean, Marino has thrown the ball dead into coverage, while you look at Moon, he's hit two wide-open defensive players. And the situation with Houston, we think they're one of the best teams in the AFC. If they're going to really be one of the best teams in the AFC, they got to take advantage of a team like the Dolphins, a team that's playing 5 or 6 defensive backs and run the football. Have to be able to run the football. You got to be able to win on the road, and they really haven't done that. They snuck out of the stadium here and beaten the Jets barely. They lost to New England in New England, and they beat Cincinnati, who's not a great football team, it turns out. And here they are in Miami losing.
Bill?
Well, Houston isn't sharp today. Now, you got to put yourself in Jack Pardee's, or at least I can put myself in Jack Pardee's position. He's got to convince his team, after watching Kansas City 42-7 last week, that Miami is capable of giving Houston a game. And quite obviously, Houston isn't as sharp as they should be, and they're not playing well right now. And Miami's look like they may upset them.
On the other hand, let's look at Marino's plight. Without making excuses for him, even a great player like Marino can have a bad game. But he's got no running game. Sammy Smith has something like 16 yards for the year since he came back off the injured list. And Mark Higgs had been doing well, but he's been supplanted by Smith. They got no tight end. Their offensive line is decimated by injuries. This guy doesn't have anything to work with, right?
Anybody can make excuses. Results are the only thing that counts, Bob.
But didn't you wish that those Bills teams had a little bit better passing game? Didn't you wish that?
I wish I had a veteran quarterback for most of my career, but, you know, you don't. You don't make excuses. You just go out and do what you can do.
Well,
I didn't have you around to help me out, Bob.
Do you hear me making excuses that I have to sit here next to you? No. Moving right along. The Saints with that tremendous defense, which hasn't allowed a touchdown in 18 consecutive quarters now. 16-0 over Tampa Bay at the half. They're doing it without Bobby Hebert. He's got the sore shoulder. Steve Walsh at quarterback. Ironhead Hayward inactive with a hamstring injury. It makes no difference. The Saints apparently on their way to a 7-0 record as they're shutting out the Bucs halftime at the Superdome. Seattle moving toward halftime in Pittsburgh, and they have just now headed for the locker rooms. The Seahawks with a 17-0 lead over the Steelers. The Steelers have been hit with 10 first-half penalties and a costly turnover. Barry Foster fumbled in Pittsburgh territory. John L. Williams scored at the end of the ensuing Seattle drive. Dave Craig back, showing no signs of rustiness. He missed 6 weeks with a broken thumb. He completes 14 of 18 passes upon his return today for 133 yards. Hasn't been intercepted in the first half. Threw a 14-yard touchdown pass to Jeff Chadwick just before halftime. Seattle with the lead at 17-0. The Jets and Indianapolis, a 14-6 lead for the Jets. And let's take a look as they've moved to the third quarter at some of the highlights from that game. Ken O'Brien suffered a sprained ankle after being sacked early in the first quarter, but he missed only one play. Came back in time for this bit of razzle-dazzle. The pitch to Johnny Hector. Hector returns it to O'Brien, hits the wide-open Rob Moore as the Colt defense bites on the fake, and the Jets go out in front 7-0. Colts quarterback Jeff George continues to have his problems behind that makeshift offensive line. Nobody touched Kyle Clifton as he came through for the sack. Bruce Coslett elects to go for it on this play on 4th and 1 from the 1-yard line, and Brad Baxter takes it across for the touchdown, which gives the Jets the lead at that point at 14-3. Dean Biasucci added a field goal just before halftime. They've kicked off to start the second half, 14-6 Jets. Bill?
Well, with the Jets' recent history with the Colts, not having won, didn't win, beat them either time last year, I don't think the Jets are probably resting too comfortably. On the Colts side, you know, the Colts don't have chances to win too many games this year. They're in there at the half. The game's still within striking distance. You know, you might see a fired-up Colt team in the second half. I'm sure Bruce Coslett's worried about that. Colts doing it without Eric Dickerson, who continues to hobble. And, of course, the Colts are 0-7 at this point in the season, 14-6 early in the third. One other score to report. New England in the third quarter with the lead on Minnesota, 14-10 in Foxborough. Good first half for Herschel Walker. He had 74 yards rushing in the first 2 quarters, plus a touchdown for the Vikings. And we're back with more as we talk about the San Francisco 49ers' troubles at this point in a 2-4 season. Bill Parcells will be back with us, and Bill Walsh will also join in the conversation after this.
I'm Don Shula. Throughout my 38 years in the National Football League, the one person who was always at my side was my wife, Dorothy. But in 1986, Dorothy noticed a lump in her breast. We prayed that it wasn't cancer, but the diagnosis confirmed our darkest fear. The doctors did everything that they could, and Dorothy never stopped fighting. For 6 years she held on, and we held on to each other. But on February 25th, 1991, she was gone. I've learned that with faith and love, I will never really lose her. She's still with me in the tough times when I need her the most. And I know that she wouldn't want me to give up the fight that she couldn't win. That's why I want to ask for your support of the United Way and all the United Way agencies that provide service to cancer patients and their families. I believe that with love, faith, and commitment, we can all be the real winners in life, because the United Way, it brings out the best in all of us.
This message furnished by the National Football League.
An accusation.
I'm being harassed by a man.
A denial.
I never touched her.
But when it leads to murder, will Gillespie find the truth? An all-new Heat of the Night. Then what kind of mother would refuse medicine that could save her child's life?
Our religion forbids it.
Is it freedom of religion or murder?
They don't have a right to martyr their child.
All new Law and Order after Heat, NBC Tuesday.
Harding, old money. Nice guy. Bogosian, pharmaceuticals, shoots in the low 80s. That's Vanderpool, oil, good backhand.
Who's that?
Turpin, bazillionaire.
What's he like?
He's smart.
Stop by Hennessy Lexus and Natalie Lexus and see how smart driving an LS400 can be.
When you're dealing with the first-time customer to the Men's Warehouse, you want to make sure he understands that we offer a full tailoring facility. And that includes things like lifetime free pressing. In addition to the money that we're going to save him at his purchase time, we're going to save him $50 or $100 on top of that just by pressing the garment for him, so he doesn't have to send it to the dry cleaners every time he needs a press job.
Congratulations, Atlanta Braves, National League champs.
Brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Nobody knows like Domino's how you like pizza at home.
Okay, as we promised on the pregame show, Bill Parcells and Bill Walsh will be here now at halftime to talk about the 49ers' problems. But before we hear from them, let's take a look at this to set things up. For a decade, the 49ers have been a symbol of National Football League excellence. But this year, San Francisco occupies last place in the NFC West, their worst start since the strike season of '82. The loss of Joe Montana to injury has left them without a proven leader and with many unanswered questions. The 49ers' rushing attack has been anemic. Their leading ground gainer is quarterback Steve Young, who's picked up 215 yards to go along with a team-leading 3 rushing touchdowns.
Obviously, our defense didn't play well.
The once dominant San Francisco defense has been vulnerable to a ground attack. Ranked 3rd in the league against the rush last year, the 49ers' rushing defense has plummeted to 18 through the first 6 games.
We've played well enough to win each ball game that we've been in. It's not like we're getting blown out, but we're making the mistakes at the wrong time, either offensively or defensively or special teams, that's costing us the ball game.
49ers special teams have been anything but. They were exposed last week against the Falcons, allowing a blocked punt and then this 100-yard kickoff return by Deion Sanders.
You can sense a little bit of panic around here now, but we can't think about those things. We can't think about what's going to happen if we continue to lose. We've just got to turn it around because we do have the talent to win.
Okay, down to Miami now, where Bill Walsh is working today's game. Oilers and Dolphins. We'll turn to him for his thoughts. Bill, what's your assessment of the 49ers' current state of affairs?
Well, they haven't lost a game by a touchdown yet, so they've been very, very competitive. They've been in every game. They could very well have won them. But on the other hand, they have a number of younger players who really haven't been assimilated or haven't been indoctrinated in the winning tradition of the San Francisco 49ers. And each phase of the game at some point has failed them along the way. And so it's not just one critical area. It's the entire operation of the team. Its functioning is not up to the standard they've had in the past.
Well, I think the main thing here is that this is the first time that San Francisco's defense has really failed them. You know, usually you could count on 2-3 touchdowns at the most against San Francisco, but you know, a team puts up 39 against you, that does shake your confidence no matter what. I think it's a combination of injuries, defensive line, not being able to put the pass rush on, therefore their pass defense suffers, and also special teams gives up 2 touchdowns last week.
Bill, even though they might have been past their peak, how much did they miss guys like Ronnie Lott and Matt Millen?
Oh, no question. Ronnie Lott in particular can make plays near the line of scrimmage. He can still make those big hits. Roger Craig clearly would have been the best running back on the 49er roster this year, and he can still do certain things related to their specific offense. They have failed to run the ball. My guess really is, my estimate is, that they have the worst set of running backs in the National Football League at this moment. And we did a Charger game a few weeks ago. Chargers had 4 running backs superior to anything on the 49er roster. So a void in that area, really. And then a breakdown, as Bill says, in defense, something that had not occurred in a previous game like that was against Bill's team in that playoff thing. I still have nightmares over that damn game. But meanwhile, the 49ers are just breaking down in individual areas, yet they have yet to lose by a touchdown, and they still can resurrect themselves in a sense and be a playoff team.
Well, how do you fix it? Very briefly, how do you fix it in the middle of the season?
I don't think it's going to be fixed, Bob, right now. I think there are too many areas where they're breaking down. You know, they've got to put 3, 4, 5 wins together, get their confidence back up. That's the only way they'll make a run.
Bill Walsh?
I agree. They're going to have to just methodically get better and better through practice, through preparation, and then perform better. And then those that just aren't performing up to 49er standards can't be on the field. They're going to have to sift through their personnel and find those guys that can win for them.
All right, Bill. And Bill, thanks very much. They still haven't been able to make a trade to beef up the running game. The last several drafts have not yielded impact players. The Niners are 2-4, and we're back as NFL Live halftime activities will continue.
Tonight, the mayor's got a new beau. Who could it be?
Good morning. Oh, my God. I laid down with dogs.
James Garner's Man of the People. Then put on your thinking caps.
Did I ever mention that I happen to be a published author?
Letters to Penthouse don't count.
Pacific Station's in jeopardy.
You're Alex Trebek.
Pretty neat, huh? At 8, 7 Central tonight.
Values handed down from generation to generation. That's the way of the West. For over 25 years, Winn-Dixie has brought you only the finest WD brand U.S. choice beef, and that's a tradition that will never change. Winn-Dixie, the beef people.
Congratulations, Atlanta Braves, National League champs.
Welcome back to Joe Robbie Stadium. Miami Dolphins leading the favorite Houston Oilers 10-7. The surprising stat of the first half, high-scoring Houston, the top pass offense, #2 offense, had the ball 8 times, didn't score. Their only score on a defensive interception. Miami's defense got the run and shoot figured out?
Well, I'd give Miami's defense a lot of credit. They've played the best game of the year for them thus far, their front four in particular, but Houston's also self-destructing. Warren Moon, possibly the best in the league, along with Dan Marino, an all-time great. Both are having just very, very average days, and it shows up in the score.
4 turnovers aside. Warren Moon intercepted 4 times. Ian Howfield to Aaron Craver, the rookie from Fresno State. And the former Bulldog is toppled at the 20-yard line. And look at the Cutter first half statistics. Both offense shackled. 62 yards rushing for the Oilers, only 13 for Miami. Marino having more success throwing the ball. A certainly off day for both of these stars, Moon and Marino. And total yards about the same. Turnovers 4 each, and that's really the story.
But if you'd have said either one would have come under 150 in total yardage for a half, you wouldn't believe it. Especially the way Houston's been playing recently. They've been getting 400 yards plus offensively for 60 minutes.
Marino underneath. And Sammy Smith brought down at the 27-yard line.
Now that kind of throw, believe it or not, can sustain drives. If Dan will just go to those outlet receivers coming out of the backfield late, like Smith or Higgs, and just sustain the ability to make first downs instead of drilling it down the field. And both quarterbacks have done that almost recklessly today. And I can understand Marino doing it because of what's gone on in Miami in the last few weeks, their football team. But for Warren Moon, that's the surprise.
7 yards on that pass, and so it's Smith on the run. He has the first down and more out to the 36. Now that's the Sammy Smith that Don Shula and the fans of the Dolphins are hungry to see.
They moved the attack about a hole wider. This would be like what they call a 6-hole play. You see, I was stretching further. They're not going to go near Doug Smith or Ray Childress inside. They want to stretch and run wider, which makes a lot of sense. See him stretching it out, getting to the outside, and Childress just couldn't get there.
And the 220-pound Smith from Florida State getting up full momentum, tough to bring down in the open field. Page and Smith behind Marino on first down. And William Fuller gets to him first, and Doug Smith is there to finish the job. Fuller, who comes into the game with 7 sacks, leading the American Football Conference. Number 95.
It was a play pass of sorts, but the Houston front four didn't even think run. They're just coming up the field, and you see Fuller just working up the field, and Dan Marino, because of the stress over there by Jones coming up the field, took his eye off the receivers. And once he did that, he was dead meat. And once he did that, he was just a runner and couldn't throw the ball.
The Dolphins, who have allowed the fewest sacks in the NFL in each of the past 9 years, and yet that was the 15th sack this year. That matches all of last season's total.
Now he's going to roll out to get the ball off.
And skips it away from Bubba McDowell, who has a couple of interceptions today.
Well, the tactic was good. He was going to start straight back, then rolled outside to get away from that pass rush, but then the ball just bounced to the receiver. Now, why that occurs, Dan will have to reflect on it after the game. It's just not him.
3rd and long. Yeah, maybe it is that mustache. I suppose maybe that throws off his weight. You know, maybe there's more. You know,
you should have been a coach, Dick. You really.
You'd have figured that out, wouldn't you?
You should have been a coach. I could have had you at my right hand. Those ideas would have made the difference.
You'd have so many rings you wouldn't know what to do with them. 3rd down and plenty. Marino.
Oh, boy.
Almost intercepted again, as that was into a crowd. Mike Dumas, the rookie from Indiana, was the closest player, and he's in a blue jersey.
Well, Marino, to a man, visiting with the Dolphins last night and the day before, all saying, in a sense, we're out of sync. We're not together. We're not well knit from a performance standpoint. Boy, are they right. I mean, it's just so evident. The front four, the defense, in a sense, for Miami's sort of held them in it, but gee, the offense, those throws being drilled 30 and 40 yards down the field, people covered.
Robich lines one. Ernest Gibbons.
Now that's a return ball there.
23-30, 40, and out of bounds at the 45-yard line. Ernest Gibbons. So the Oilers' first possession starts in good field position.
If you order a suit designed around the way you're built, you have to wait about 2 months. If you want a house designed around the way you live, the wait is 2 years. But if what you desire is a car designed around the way you drive, you don't have to wait another day. The 1991 Acura Legend Coupe.
Let me just cut in here with news about a pretty exciting non-alcoholic brew. See, it doesn't matter if you're a log cutter or a dog cutter. You're going to love a Coors Cutter. It tastes like beer because it's brewed like beer. Thing is, Cutter's special yeast doesn't produce all that alcohol. So whether you're a stud cutter or a spud cutter, a Coors Cutter goes down smooth and easy as you please. Nothing cuts it like a cutter.
A company can learn a lot in 125 years. Valvoline has. You learn in the lab, you learn on the road, you learn on the racetrack. As you learn, you make your product better. And better, and better. Today's Valvoline will keep your engine cleaner than ever before. And cleaner means more protection against engine wear. 125 years of quality. That's why people who know use Valvoline.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Acura Automobiles. Experience precision-crafted performance. By the U.S. Army. Learn how to get an edge on life. Be all you can be. By Valvoline Motor Oil. People who know use Valvoline. And by Hertz. We never forget who made us #1. We're Hertz. We're America's wheels.
I figured something else out, Bill Walsh. You know those pom-poms? Those are for hot weather. I mean, those serve as fans. Actually, they're cooling devices.
Your mind is a steel trap. I mean, those are the details that make the difference.
Well, you walk away from a game saying, now I've learned something new. Houston's first possession, second half. Moon to Jeffries to the 45 of Miami, a 9-yard pickup.
Gee, that was well done. That was very well done. Reggie Roby most likely has the strongest punting leg the game has seen, maybe ever, but certainly in the last decade. But the consistency, although the average is 45, that last punt was a line drive, and there was a 22-yard return off the punt. A previous punt went 20 yards over the end line, kicking into the end zone instead of out of bounds. And so the refinement of the punting, Reggie is yet to develop, and may not ever.
2nd and 1 for Moon and the Oilers, and Lorenzo White. Boy, he's playing hard today. He has a whole section of fans cheering him. He's from nearby Fort Lauderdale, and he said yesterday he had purchased 50 tickets while he was in Houston, and then he scrambled around once arriving in Florida and bought 30 more. He has 80 of his family here, including his mother and grandmother, grandfather, and nephews and nieces, all ages, here to cheer Lorenzo. Wish we knew where they were sitting. We'd give you a shot of the white plane. First down at the Miami 43. Moon, wide open field to the right. And he's out of bounds with a first down at the 31. The 34-year-old legs of Warren Moon still eating up some good yards, a dozen on that scramble.
Well, in an effort to get to Moon, the Miami pass rushers are just sort of reckless. They're taking either side of the blocker, and they just want to get penetration or push into him, and that time neither side was contained. Warren could have come out left or right, nobody there. And a great athlete like this, a great performer, just instinctively knew what to do.
Always a good runner, going back to his days at the University of Washington, but now, as you saw those numbers, he just doesn't want to run. In a situation like that where he has no choice, he takes it. But his game is throwing, as he does now. And there's Haywood Jeffries again, 11 yards, a first down at the 20. And gives us a chance to check other scores. The Hertz 10-minute ticker. New Orleans 16-0. Seattle another field goal early in the third at Pittsburgh.
The Jets, to me, Dick, the two coaches that deserve attention this year, Chuck Knox always does. His team is always ready to play. Finally, they've got Craig back. They've become competitive again. And Bruce Kozla, I think, does a wonderful job, regardless of win-loss at the Jets, because they've elevated them into at least the middle of the pack, and they were competitive every week. But between Chuck Knox and Bruce Kozla, two of the best coaching jobs that are being done today in the NFL.
They did not give the mark at the 20, but the 21, so as you saw, it'll be second down in inches. It's a good point when you bring up the Jets and Miami. They come into this game both 3-4 in the East, both with a bye next week, and both with a fairly easy schedule in the second half of the season. Miami in particular, their opponents the last 8 games have a combined record of something like 18-35. So if Don Shula can beat Houston today, he feels he's got a playoff chance. But 2nd and 1, trailing 10-7, Houston with the ball. And it's White plowing close to the 15 and a first down. David Briggs got a piece of him to trip him up. Lorenzo White, who in 2 Heisman races finished 3rd to Bo Jackson and was 4th to Tim Brown of Notre Dame while he starred with the Spartans of Michigan State. He and the alums of Michigan State celebrating their first win of the year yesterday against Minnesota.
Lorenzo's blocking ability is the difference between himself and Alan Pickett, who's also a fine running back. But Lorenzo at 5'11" is an excellent outside blocker.
Moon and the Oilers driving deep. Blocked by Bobby Harden, who had an interception in the first half.
They have Harden just lurking in that middle. He got that earlier interception, and this time he just drifts with Warren Moon and watches his eyes and tries to get between him and the receiver. And it worked very well that time. Just basically sort of a spying linebacker, but he's playing the linebacker spot at about 195 pounds. And you'll see him right over the ball and right at this point on the field, and you'll see him move right with Warren Moon. He's moving right with Warren Moon, and then up in the air he goes.
Not really covering anyone, just trying to read his eyes, huh?
A reverse.
And it's Drew Hill with blockers. But boy, did Miami react well, and they stop him for a short gain. E.J. Jr., Estes James, if you please, from Alabama. What a play. It looked as if that might go for a touchdown.
It looked great. And then the defenders began to converge faster than the ball carrier. And E.J. Jr., with all that experience, could spot that thing coming. He took just the right angle back and cut the whole thing off.
#1 pick out of Alabama in 1981 of the Cardinals.
Gone through a tough existence as a player, and he's come out of it all right.
3rd down and 9. Underneath, and it'll be short of a first down as Curtis Duncan has his first reception of the day. From Northwestern is Duncan, who reads and writes poetry. And Jack Pardee says, like to have had 7, but I'll settle for the short field goal and a tie.
Yeah, they feel they can hold Miami. So if they just began to work up toward them, naturally they'll be behind 7-6 at the end of this play. But if they can just get right up in there close, in the 4th quarter, they'll win it. And that was excellent coverage on the backside of that play. Excellent.
26-yard attempt by Howfield, who's 9 for 12 this year. Boy, a high snap and a good job done by Frank Mayatki, who is primarily on the roster because he does hold so well. It's time.
10 years. His hair is a little thinner.
I don't remember her looking so beautiful.
Not bad. For an ex-jock. Hello, stranger.
I'm hardly a stranger.
Well, you are late.
I know. You shouldn't have waited 10 years for this. Happy anniversary.
The Diamond Anniversary Band. Tell her you'd marry her all over again.
You sure can pick an appetizer.
Long after you've turned off the engine of the Acura Vigor, it will continue to run through your mind. The new Vigor from Acura.
Elvira here, back with a helping hand for Halloween. Coors Light, it's the official beer of Halloween. And just what an adult party needs to be a howling success. What? You don't believe me? What do you need, like a sign from above?
Be sure to visit this display wherever you buy Coors Light.
And it's just perfect for when friends drop in. See what I mean?
September 8th, 1970. I Dream of Jeannie ends. What has she been up to since then?
I shall resign the presidency.
Do you believe in miracles?
Wait till you see what she's up to next. All new, I Still Dream of Jeannie, the movie. NBC tonight.
Boy, the little things do mean a lot. Frank Mayatki, you fans up in Grand Rapids, Michigan watching. Remember him at Grand Valley State. Those good hands. Caught 121 passes, and he needed those to get up high, get the ball down, and Howfield nails it to tie the game at 10. Mayatki, a free agent with the Giants a couple of years ago. And now it's Howfield picking it off to Craver and Higgs. It'll be Aaron Craver at the 4. And he's knocked out of bounds at the 16-yard line. Marino comes on the field, and we go to our second Xerox Sports Facts of the day. And here's the question. See if you do better this time, Bill. Name the all-time quarterback receiver touchdown combination. In other words, what quarter? I'll give you a hint. It was not Cecil Isbell and Don Hudson of the Green Bay Packers. What quarterback receiver combination has scored more touchdowns than any other combination in NFL history? I'll give you a chance, as we will all fans, to think about it a play. You don't have to answer.
Angelo Bertelli.
Marino from the 20, a 10-all tie, midpoint of the third quarter. To Duper, complete as they throw in front of the rookie corner, Steve Jackson, for about 10.
That was well timed, beautifully done. Would Charlton Heston have been any factor in that?
No, the movie hasn't been made yet, but he would be a possible candidate for the quarterback role.
Ronald Reagan.
No. We better hurry up and give the answer, I'm afraid, down there.
My mind's really playing tricks on me now.
At the 26, there it is. Name the all-time, and there's half the answer in your picture. Dan Marino, Mark Clayton, with a touchdown pass today, 69. No combination in history ever more productive in scoring than Marino and Clayton. Sammy Smith breaking tackles and spinning out to the 35-yard line before William Fuller can drag him down.
Once again, Tony Page leading that play is a devastating blocker, and he can make the difference. As he gets to the hole, he goes right up underneath and takes people out of there. And meanwhile, the spin by Sammy Smith helped. He was hit and he spun instinctively, and that tore off the arms.
Smith, who rushed for 831 yards last year. That was the most since Larry Sonko by a Dolphin back in '79. First down, 37. Marino underneath. Smith to the 43-yard line.
Dan's back in rhythm now. He looked down the field, and he wanted Clayton down the field. Came right off to his outlet receiver in the middle. I can remember that particular play in the Super Bowl 19 with Wendell Tyler catching a ball just like that very late from Montana, getting a 45-yard gain out of it. The zone defenders lose track of the man you just faked to. Then if you hit him late, he's got all kinds of running room.
Marino now 14 for 28, hitting 50% of his passes. 1 touchdown, but 3 intercepted.
Changing the play.
Underneath to Beatty and the tight end. First down at the Houston 44.
In that particular play, Dan Marino knew that Lathan, 57, would be covering Beatty. And so that crossing pattern, there goes Beatty, and he beats Lathan this time. Now he has to hold on to the ball. The last time, as you recall, he fumbled it. But in that particular play, he spotted the coverage and knew just where to go with the ball.
Meanwhile, Tom Dooley has thrown the flag. Let's see what that's about. Roughing Marino against the Oilers. 15 more. That'll take it to the 29-yard line. Now, we talked about the Marino and Clayton combination being the most successful. Johnny Unitas and Raymond Barry second was 63, and Montana to Rice 55, and of course that's still a lie. Here that's Childress and Galbraith who were involved in the, and it was Ray Childress who apparently took a kick at Galbraith that got the 15-yard personal foul. Into the end zone, Duper. It was fading wide as Jackson covering Duper one-on-one. Any time Marino thinks he can get man coverage from the rookie Jackson on Duper, he's going to go in that direction.
Tony Page came out of the backfield, out of a wing-back position, and early on he was open. But Marino did the right thing. He got rid of that ball. They can't afford now to throw the interception or knock themselves out of field goal position. They've got to get 3 points out of this drive.
Beautiful Joe Robbie Stadium that will be the baseball home of the Florida Marlins in 1993. to deep center field where Miami is operating now on 2nd and 10 from the 29. Quickie to Clayton, who tried to one-handed. I think he was expecting a hit from one of the safeties. That was a touchdown if he'd have pulled it in. He had beaten everybody in that deep defense. Now a chance to check the Hertz 10-minute ticker. Tampa Bay has scored in the 3rd period, and has the Steelers have as well. New England still by 1 against the Vikings. Dick McPherson's doing a good job with that.
Excellent. He's brought structure to that organization. He's ideal man to bring back a sorry organization.
Marino 1 for 6 on 3rd and long. Incomplete. He had 2 men over there, both Tony Martin and Mark Clayton.
It's just not happening. Dan's not himself or what he's been, at least in the last couple of weeks. And
you suppose he might be trying to do too much? I mean, there's so much weight on his shoulders.
I don't know. But he's getting rid of the ball sometimes too early, holding it a little tone. It just isn't in sync. And he knows it. And he's a proud athlete and a great one. Then he may come up again with a big play that'll make the difference. But they didn't help themselves having to kick this long a field goal.
But that Stoyanovich can kick him. 47 yards on this attempt. Scott Secules to hold. He got plenty of it. Good again. And Miami regains the lead, 13-10. Nearly perfect. Pete Stoyanovich. He's now 12 for 13.
Hello?
Hi, Sam. Listen, I really need to go over these numbers with you.
Listen, can you hold on for a second?
Some things are simply too good to be interrupted. The Legend sedan from Acura.
Hello? Sam, are you there? Sam?
This is a commercial for this clever little portable CD player from Magnavox, the inventors of CD technology. I'm sorry, actually, this is a commercial for the ingenious Magnavox 13-inch TV with a built-in VCR. I'm sorry, this is really a commercial for this brilliant 52-inch TV with 100-watt Dolby surround sound. I'm sorry, wrong again. This is supposed to be a commercial for this Magnavox 386 notebook computer. Hang on, we haven't finished. Oh, I'm sorry.
The ingenious products from Magnavox. They're smart, very smart.
Every year, for the past 11 years, Hertz has been rated the best overall car rental company by a survey of renters. For over a decade, 19,000 renters considered car selection, reliability, cleanliness, and the quality of the company's service. For the 11th year in a row, we're America's #1 way to rent a car.
Hertz, we're America's wheels.
A new arrival. A tire so special, it may last as long as you own your car. The new XH4. Congratulations. It's a Michelin.
Pete Stoyanovich, 3rd year out of Indiana. Look, he doesn't really overkick, just a nice, easy follow-through and 46 yards easily to give Miami the lead. There's Dumas, who was his teammate with the Hoosiers. That's how old buddies say, how you doing? Stoyanovich has kicked one 71 yards in practice. Here come the Houston Oilers. And it goes to the big back, Alan Pinkett, out to the 29-yard line, and we go to Bob Costas in New York.
All right, Dick, watch some nifty running here by Blair Thomas of the Jets. Off the delayed handoff, he bursts through the hole, makes a nice move to evade a tackler, bangs into a few more and drags them for extra yardage. 23 yards down to the 3, but the Jets don't get a touchdown. They settle for a 19-yard Leahy field goal lead at Indy, 17-6 early in the 4th.
All right, Robert here at Joe Robbie in Miami with 4:09 left in the 3rd period. Miami leads 13-10 after a sluggish performance. Both offenses in the first half. Here in the second, each team scoring a field goal on their first possession. Now the Oilers' turn, and Lorenzo White struggles to the 31, dragging 3 Dolphin tacklers with him.
Well, as of a week ago, the Dolphins were shredded by Kansas City with Okoye, but shredded all over the field with a running game. Today they're coming off blocks well. They're responding well. Now this is not the Kansas City running game, but still Houston early in the year had a good running game. And there's just a dramatic difference. It's just a state of mind, I suppose, but they're doing an excellent job so far.
2nd and 8. Moon to Drew Hill to the 41-yard line. Drew Hill, who's working toward 500 career catches this season. He started with the Los Angeles Rams, played there 4 years. His first catch, a touchdown from Pat Hayden.
Well, Hill crossing, and Chris Green trying to stay with him, and basically Green is walled off. He can't get in there because Gibbons had taken his man up in sort of a pick play. But just those shallow crossing patterns are just... that's the strength of the run and shoot. They get people all the way over the field, and the quarterback sprinting the other way, so it's a perfect combination.
And Hill and Gibbons work in the slot, the quicker players in the slot. Lorenzo White powers his way near midfield, and a good pickup on first down of 7 or 8. Bobby Harden made the tackle.
Well, again, the 3-man line, as we see it here, is giving away the run. You'll see these people in this area, you've got a lot of places to run the ball. In this case, it's going to bounce out. But they're saying, go ahead and run. We don't want you to throw.
And Moon and the Oilers will take 7 yards on that first down play. Ooh, drilled as soon as he caught the ball. Michael Magruder on little Tony Jones, who may be the smallest player in the NFL. Jones of the Oilers, 5'7", and he said yesterday when they were practicing in the rain with his uniform all damp, he literally was over 140 soaking wet.
Well, this offense gives those kinds of guys those chances, both the defensive backfield spots, but the wide receiver spots.
As Jack Pardee said, there's no position that is richer, whether recruiting in college, just missed the first down, or in the NFL draft and wide receiver. There's an abundance of players. You can get a star in the 5th, 8th, 9th round.
Just if you don't put a size requirement on it, and you put a speed requirement, and maybe a courage requirement, intelligence, some of those other things, but size, don't worry about it in the run and shoot. When I began to study Houston for this game, I saw 139 pounds written down. I knew it was a misprint, but it's true.
His leg's about the size of your wrist. From the 50, 3rd and inches. And Moon sneaks it ahead, the necessary yard for a first down. Warren Moon, he, since he was a little kid, did not believe all the stories that he might have heard that a black man would not become a successful National Football League quarterback. There weren't many role models as he grew up in Los Angeles back in the 60s, early 60s. James Harris was the first perhaps successful quarterback with the Los Angeles Rams. And Moon could have been denied many times. Folks wanted him to be a defensive back in college. He refused to accept that. He said all along, he told us, he knew he could make it on a major college level and he could become an NFL quarterback. Took a circuitous route. But he's a terrific player and proved his point well. Underneath, Ernest Gibbons, a pickup short, 3.5, 4 yards. Bobby Harden with the tackle.
Well, Moon having to attend junior college, which in California is not uncommon. A lot of great quarterbacks have come out of the junior college system, community college system. But West Los Angeles Junior College is a 2-year school. The coaches wanted him to remain there 2 years. I was a junior college player once myself, I can recall. The coach wants you for both years, and he had to sneak film out to send it around because he wanted to leave after that one. He wanted to get a shot.
And he went to the University of Washington, then didn't figure he'd be a high pick in the NFL, so took off to the Canadian League where he started with Edmonton. Now at age 34, leading the Oilers. Lorenzo White Draw 7-8 white jerseys at the 42-yard line. It'll be third down and about 2. And there's the gun, the end of the third quarter here in Miami, with the Dolphins in front 13-10.
Tonight on Erie, Indiana, Simon's little brother gets zapped into a mummy movie. But then, where's the... Erie, Indiana, NBC Tonight.
Gee, it sure is dark in here.
Oh, for me? I'm all choked up. They're celebrating my birthday for a whole month at Crystal with 3 special combo meals for only $2.89 each. And with each meal, you get a piece of my birthday cake free. So head to Crystal for my birthday. This party was your idea, wasn't it, George?
Happy birthday, dear George. Happy birthday.
Our operating companies were the companies that started it all. Back then, people thought that electricity was just something to light a bulb or maybe run a fan. We've helped generate a better way of life. We've powered the American dream. Almost everything you can think of that's connected now with better ways to work, better ways to live, is powered by electricity. Just think about it.
Let's hang it right at the tower, DJ.
DHL was making express deliveries overseas before Federal Express was even in business. With a head start like that, we can simply do things others can't. DHL, faster to more of the world.
The War with the Queen, round 2. Now it can be told.
On our Miller Genuine Light 10-minute ticker, New Orleans still going for 7-0. Seattle in the driver's seat at Pittsburgh going into the 4th period. Casey has kicked a field goal there. Jets still leading 17-6, and no score except for a field goal by Reves for Minnesota in the 3rd period at Minnesota. Here we open the 4th quarter. Hickenberg with Bill Walsh, and it's T.J. Turner leaning offside for Miami as the Dolphins lead favored Houston 13-10. Microphone not working, but there was quite apparent offside against Miami.
Well, Moon is handling his snap count. You see his head, Bob? Just right. Not quite illegal, but his head moved, and he got Turner to move.
Moon, no touchdowns today, intercepted 3 times. He's 14 for 25. He opens the 4th quarter in Miami territory at the 37. First down. Through the hands of Lorenzo White.
Those are the good and bad days of football, because White was wide open. Moon had set it up, and it appears that Moon put too much on the ball and White didn't see it quickly enough. It's really critical inside that the receivers see the ball, and that ball was thrown right over the lineman's head, so White didn't have but an instant to find it and catch it.
2nd and 10. Moon, who still calls his mother in Los Angeles to receive sage advice, said he called her this past week, getting concerned about his contract. He said it's starting to eat at him. He'd like to have that thing cleaned up during the season. Wide open Gibbons, and he's got it for what might be another first down. The whistle had not sounded, so Gibbons gets up and runs. Now the whistle marks it dead at the 27-yard line.
Bobby Harden almost got back in her to make that play. Miami's doing an excellent job with Harden lurking in there, but you see the ball thrown. Now he breaks for it, and it's really a tight play. Very tight.
Wow, he just did brush with Gibbons. That was a very alert play by the 6-year veteran wide receiver, bouncing to his feet and running into the end zone.
For all the records that Moon will finally have, and for all the distinction he'll have as a football player, the 6 years at Edmonton, if you were to add those kinds of yards to the NFL, just assuming that maybe the first year or two he didn't play much, he would be way up there. in
He'd be right there,
yardage.
Fran Tarkenton and all
right
the
up,
rest.
right up there.
46,000 yards about.
So it's a different league, a different kind of competition. But in a sense, he established himself in the Canadian Football League. He won championships, and it gave him the experience to come down into the NFL and right away become a great player. But it also took 5 years, at least 5 of those 6 years, out of the record books for the NFL.
He said he loved Edmonton. He said he thought he'd stay there the rest of his pro football life, but had so much success, 5 championships. He said, I've got to go prove myself in the NFL. So junior college to Washington to the Canadian League to the NFL. An interesting route. Moon sneaks it ahead. First down at the 25-yard line.
Well, he played in, what was it, Baldwin Hills? That area of Los Angeles.
No, his defensive end was 8 years old. James Lofton, a guy that you
I coached
had at
James.
Stanford.
What a great player he was. But as a young guy, I don't believe that was tackle football. But as in a recreation league, those guys all developed, and any number of them became great college players, then great pros.
Trailing by 3. Moon faces first down at the 25. Impatient with the short stuff, goes to Drew Hill for a 5-yard gain. Tackled by the rookie Chris Green. Picked up. There was no fumble. The ground created the loose ball.
Those crossing patterns we keep reminding people of. Now, Moon has the arm to throw back. He'll sprint left, then pivot, and throw right. And bless his heart, Chris Green is trying to stay with that stuff. And as a rookie, he's really challenged. Here he's got a guy that's played 12 years and knows just what he's doing. And Chris Green is not a rookie, but he's a young enough player. He hasn't seen those kinds of patterns.
So it's been the inside men running those short crossing patterns, Hill and Givens, that Moon has gone to most frequently. Jeffries, who had 40 catches coming in, has been more quiet today, only 2. There is Jeffries. Who runs well after the catch, and he apparently has another first down before being corralled by Lewis Oliver and J.B. Brown.
It's just a hitch pattern, sprinted up the field. As soon as Moon saw that single coverage out there with Brown covering, he just sprinted through. Brown came up a little slow, but he does make a good tackle. He does not let Jeffries split people and make the extra yards. But Dick, in this part of the field now, it gets more and more to Miami's advantage, because that inline, the end of the end zone, limits where those receivers can go. They can play them a lot tighter now.
At the 14-yard line, 12 minutes left in the 4th period. Houston going for the lead. It's Lorenzo White. And he picks up a good chunk on first down to the 7-yard line before Lewis Oliver can come up from that strong safety to make the hit.
Oliver's a little late getting there, and this was where he'll improve. But the play got all the way to Oliver without anybody touching White. And it's an excellent job by Munchak, who just came back to play today. He did a fine job of controlling Reichenbach. Beautiful job of controlling him so White could split the difference.
And what is a surprisingly low score? Miami by 3 in the 4th. White stopped at the 5-yard line. That'll be a yard shy of a first down, depending on the mark.
That was an interesting alignment by Miami. They gave Houston a huge hole over the left side, figuring that Moon would audible or run into it. And meanwhile, Lewis Oliver was sneaking into the hole. So it was very interesting that they'd give him a big hole to run into. And you'll see that Oliver's right there to make the stop. They invited him to audible a run.
3rd and 1. 15th play of this drive by the Oilers. White again. And he has the first down to the 2-yard line. Oliver, the tackler, once more for Miami.
Well, they had to play for the quarterback sneak. They had no choice. Moon's made 2 first downs coming into the line from the quarterback spot, so everybody had to play in for that, and they extended it and handed the ball off wide to White.
Good job of cutting back through the tackle of Jarvis Williams, and Oliver secures him just inside the 2. The Houston offense, second best in the NFL coming into this weekend. Miami's defense, second from the bottom in the NFL. But the Dolphin defense has been tough, and Houston has yet to score an offensive touchdown today. On 1st and goal, Moon, touchdown, Curtis Duncan. Duncan's 4th touchdown grab of the year, and Houston has the lead.
Just had him singled up out there on the 1-yard line, so he comes inside Magruder, starts out, breaks in, and Magruder couldn't get his hands on him quick enough to slow him down. So Moon is so sharp, throwing that ball low and away from the defender.
1-yard touchdown for Warren Moon. His 11th touchdown toss of the season, and Houfield's try for point is good. And for the first time, the flag is down. For the first time today, the Oilers have scored on offense other than a field goal. Looks like one of those tack on the penalty kickoff.
We have illegal use of the hands, number 54 on the defense. The point was good. We will penalize on the kickoff.
E.J. Jr. with the foul. Houston will have a short kickoff, leading 17-13 in the 4th.
For those of you looking for the big taste of Miller Genuine Draft, in a light beer, we proudly present cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft Light. Also available in 12-ounce sizes.
It's about style. It's about power. It's about control, the security of standard anti-lock brakes. It's about $12,000. The all-new Grand Am Sports Sedan. Excitement with purpose.
You gotta agree. Pizza or cheeseburger?
Domino's, just what you want.
Nobody knows like Domino's.
Domino's Pizza's Bacon Cheeseburger Pizza Feast. A medium pizza piled high with ground beef, bacon, and an extra layer of cheese.
Nobody knows like Domino's.
We don't make your pizza till you make your call. So call for a Bacon Cheeseburger Pizza Feast. Now just $8.99, 2 for $12.99.
Nobody knows like Domino's. How you like pizza at home?
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Call Domino's Pizza right now, and you'll be enjoying a hot, delicious pizza when the game is over.
Bright sunshine. You saw the lights on. That from earlier in the day, from 12:30 to 1, we had a thunderstorm. A lot of rain fell before game time. They turned the lights on and have kept them on, but it's been brilliant Florida sun since. What a drive. 71 yards. Took almost 10 minutes. Moon finally with a touchdown, his 20th straight game throwing a touchdown pass, 1 yard to Duncan, and it's the Oilers in front. The long kick into the end zone because Houfield was kicking off from the 45-yard line. The penalty on the extra point, and we have a timeout.
The all-new Pontiac Grand Am. You can own it for its new overhead cam power, its driver's interior, its standard anti-lock brakes, and you can own it for under $12,000. The new Pontiac Grand Am. Excitement with purpose.
Those figures for the meeting, you don't like them?
Some things are so reliable, they seem invisible.
Confusing, right? They're fine.
For the last 9 years, Canon has been the #1 choice for copiers of uncompromising quality.
No, really, tell me. You can tell me. They're fine. I'm your friend, tell me.
And if you haven't noticed, that's exactly how it should be.
We're not friends anymore.
From compact to advanced digital color to high-speed copying systems, the choice is Canon. Call 1-800-OK-CANON.
There's a big sense of pride in owning a company.
I think customers have noticed the change in the company and the change in us.
We've got this 24-hour hotline in case something happens while you're out on the road.
If you're in a hurry, we've added extra buses, get you in and out fast.
We want to make sure that our customers see that we can provide them with the type of service that they expect and deserve.
We love to make people happy. That's a part of our business. Keep you coming back.
We want to see them back at our counter again, many times. So why rent from anyone but an owner?
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Pontiac and your local Pontiac dealer. We build excitement. By the Big Taste of Miller Genuine Draft Light. Big draft taste comes to life. By the employee owners of Avis. We try harder. And by Canon, America's #1 choice for copiers of uncompromising quality.
How's your heart, Bill? Speaking of tickers, the Miller Genuine Light 10-minute ticker. 23-7, New Orleans over Tampa Bay. Seattle leads Pittsburgh 20-7. The Jets still in front of the Colts, and New England,
look at that,
at home up by 7 against the Vikes.
That's two teams going in opposite directions, Minnesota and New England.
Those big fans, boy, this is the time of the game in the heat and humidity of Florida, where Miami traditionally under Shula would wear down their opponents, be so tough late, and they're going to have to be today to win their 4th game of the year. They trail 17-13. Lots of time for Marino, and it's broken up by Jackson, intended for Mark Duper.
Well, Marino waited too long to throw. Then Jarvis Williams entered the scene from the safety spot. There are two people running collision courses to Duper. Now you see him come in. Now watch Jarvis Williams attack that play. There it is. Oh, is that Orlando that came into it? I had the wrong.
The right number.
Came off
you
the
had the right. You had the right number, 26. 2nd and 10 for Marino. Cross-back screen to Sammy Smith. Has to run over his own blockers. The blockers didn't move out and do much, and so Smith had to run up their back, and Sean Jones finally made the tackle short of the 1st down.
That's a tough spot to call that play. Now, Dan Marino's going to roll out and get as much width to his right that he can. But Jones just isn't going to be fooled. That's all there is to it. And he's just right in the middle of the blockers and everybody else.
Well, here's one of the most intelligent players in the league, Sean Jones, in the offseason in Beverly Hills, California. He'll do some investment planning for you. Marcus Allen, his former teammate, one of his clients, he says, hold on to your money. Keep it on the sidelines. Wait till next year before you go big into the stocks. That was the tip we got yesterday. Deflected out of the hands of Mark Clayton by the omnipresent Chris Dishman, and Marino and the Dolphins run out of downs.
That ball was thrown late, thrown too hard, and Clayton tried to run before he caught it. Now that's not very good. That little tiny short 3-yard pass, the ball bounced off his pads before Dishman even made a play on it.
Well, Dishman is having a terrific season, and he's looked good again today. Hasn't come up with the interception, but certainly was involved in a couple deflections. Roby hits a high floater. Ernest Givens at the 20. Tripped up as he hits the 30, a 10-yard return. And we have a timeout. 8:13 remaining in the 4th quarter. The Oilers with the ball and the lead.
Two people. Two airbags. The new Pontiac SSEI. A higher level of luxury and confidence.
People love the convenience of fax machines. What most of us don't like are funny paper faxes that curl up and are hard to read. That's why Xerox makes more kinds of plain paper fax machines than anyone else for documents that are easy to read and a pleasure to handle because they're on good old plain paper. Plain paper fax machines from Xerox, the way to put it together.
Putting it together.
Faxing, scanning, copying, printing. Xerox, the document company.
For those of you looking for the big taste of Miller Genuine Draft, in a light beer, we proudly present cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft Light. Also available in 12-ounce sizes.
The explosive Fighting Irish have ignited the scoreboard in 1991, averaging over 40 points a game at home. Next Saturday, Lou Holtz and company battle the Trojans of Southern Cal in the nation's oldest intersectional rivalry. The Fighting Irish, USC. Notre Dame football is home on NBC.
Back in Miami, and Ernest Givens on that punt return still down, and hopefully less serious than it looks. He's been battling what appeared to be cramps all this second half. Little turn, well, it seems to be not favoring anything there, Bill.
Must be a muscle pull or a muscle cramp, and he's back in on the field, and you're bound to aggravate it sooner or later.
So, reminder that next week here on NBC, it's our turn at offering you a doubleheader, and here's the lineup. The early game after NFL Live at 12:30 will feature the Bengals. Sam Weich's team goes to Houston. Oh, they like each other so much, those two teams. That always produces some extra sparks. And then at 4 o'clock, most of you will see that long-standing rival, the Steelers and the Browns from Cleveland. San Diego will be in Seattle at the Kingdome, and Denver, New England, our doubleheader next Sunday on NBC.
I don't think there'll be a lot of rhetoric out of Cincinnati before they head down this time. Could be tough on them.
Well, after the offense for Houston had 8 possessions, no offensive touchdowns in the first half, or scores for that matter, then here in the second half a field goal and a touchdown in their only 2 possessions, and they send Lorenzo White off tackle for 5.
It really is hard to believe that Miami can hold this potent offense to 1 touchdown offensively. It really is. And whereas last week they just were non-existent against Kansas City. Now maybe it's the styles of football, but I just think they're tougher inside this week, much tougher, much more physical.
Doing it without John Offerdahl, their perennial all-pro linebacker. On 2nd and 5, Moon with pressure on has to unload incomplete to Jeffries. It was Bobby Harden, who's been playing that spy position, who shot through to put pressure on Moon.
Well, it was a delayed blitz. He sat for just a second, allowed the Houston blockers to pick their man up, then all of a sudden flashed through. And we didn't have a good shot of him there, but he waited just long enough to appear as though he wasn't blitzing.
That brings up 3rd and 5. Here we can see it.
On the other hand, look at Moon's quickness in getting rid of a ball. A lot of quarterbacks would have been flat on their back with a ball in their hand.
Moon and the Oilers 5 for 10 on 3rd down today, but 4 of the last 4. Deflected, incomplete. And it was Harden again. What a game for Bobby Harden, who starred at Miami with the Hurricanes. He might be their most valuable player.
Well, it was really a great job by Brown at the top of the screen, covering his man. That's the person that Warren Moon wanted to throw to the left to Jeffries. And so as he came back inside, all heck broke loose because there was a pass rush. And, of course, there was Harden again.
So with 7:23 left in the 4th quarter, Miami will get the ball. They have all their timeouts left. Both teams do. Montgomery sends a spinner out of there to Scott Miller. And Miller, little wide receiver, out of bounds at the 23-yard line. And a timeout. Miami with the ball.
working to be the best they can be. Teammates, sponsored by the U.S. Army. As backfield mates in Miami, Jim Kick and Larry Zonka were nearly inseparable. Close friends, both on and off the field, Kick was a fine runner, receiver, and blocker, helping Zonka reach the Hall of Fame. Zonka returned the favor, blocking for Kick. A relationship so close, they became known as Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Teammates in life who made the Dolphins the best they can be.
I can't tell you how it feels when you're way out there on your own tracking the bad guys. How it feels leading a skilled team that's the eyes and ears of the whole outfit. When all your training is coming alive. But finding those tanks and telling the air cavalry right where to hit them, I can tell you exactly how that feels.
The temperature never drops below Xerex. That's very important to remember, especially at a time like this, when it's very deserted and very cold. Ah, you did remember Xerex antifreeze. The temperature never drops below Xerex.
With more than 7 minutes to go, Houston with a 4-point lead, but the Dolphins have the ball. Dick Enberg with the Super Bowl champion coach Bill Walsh and his retirement game, that last Super Bowl of 3 right here on this field. You told us once you don't really remember much about all the surroundings. It just all exploded on you.
No, there's just so much noise and pandemonium going on. Plus that, you're concentrating on what you're doing on the field. So the game could be played in Nome, Alaska, and you wouldn't worry about it. You had decisions to make, but this place was alive, Dick. It really was, and that last touchdown over in that end zone, I'll never forget.
But you kept a secret that you were going to retire. When did you really decide that that was your last game?
Well, I had decided a while before that, but then I began to reconsider when we made that touchdown.
You would like to say, why
not keep going?
DeBartolo said, let's think this over once again. Yes. All right, Miami goes to work. Marino guns it. Incomplete, almost intercepted by Bo Orlando.
Dan is just throwing that ball down that middle into the free safeties. Now there was the defensive team. The Oilers had a much better chance to get the reception than the Dolphins. Look at that ball at the last second, thrown right in through that crowd of people. That very well should have been an interception. Now this I just haven't seen from Dan Marino. I really haven't.
Johnny Meads might have been the man who deflected the ball slightly in front of the intended receiver. So since it doesn't seem to be open down the middle, you surprised he doesn't throw more out patterns?
He's got to be throwing shorter patterns, crossing patterns, outlet patterns.
Marino scrambling. A rare run by Marino and a first down at the 35 with Jeff Alm on his back for the tackle.
He knew what he had to get to.
Crowd loved that.
Well, the contain on his right side just collapsed in there. Just collapsed. And he was ready to make it. Fuller took a big chance going inside to get a sack, and Marino just jumped outside that pass rush.
Boy, the way Marino was tackled there and pinned over, that was scary for a moment, but he's okay. And the crowd loved the fact that he ran for 11. In trouble. Flips the ball incomplete, and that will not be grounding. They're going to call that a legal pass. It was a little underhand shovel, but he had a man very close as William Fuller about to make the sack.
A year ago, this by the new rule, this is not grounding the ball, but a year ago they'd have called him for being sacked right there. But now he just gets rid of the ball.
And he had Sammy Smith close enough.
But Sammy Smith was wide open, Dick. That's the point. 2 or 3 times earlier, he'd outlet pass to his backs, Higgs, Smith, and he waits too long on that first receiver trying to make the big play. There's plenty of time in the game to win it. Plenty of time.
6:15 to go in the 4th. Marino wide open over the middle is Tony Page. .26 yards to the fullback.
Johnny Meads, number 91, will be unable to cover Page. It looks as though he slips and trips, or possibly Page made a good move. You see Meads slip and fall. That was the difference. Page started outside, and Mead got his legs caught up and fell.
We called Page a fullback. That's what he is, but he's playing more like an H-back this year, isn't he?
Sort of the tight end spot. Yeah, he'll get up there to block and then occasionally be a receiver.
First down from the 39 off play action. Dumps it off to Page. And Tony Page, who was a roommate of the Bills' Bruce Smith at Virginia Tech, rumbles for a few more.
He faked to Page. He faked the trap play to Page. And Page was really the third option for Dan Marino. He looked down the field for Clayton, and he looked into the flat for Smith, then he hit Page late.
Oh, Doug Smith appears to be injured on the play and holding that right hand. And you can see Tony Page very careful after the tackle how he extracted himself from Doug Smith. And when players are involved in that close contact and they feel someone really is seriously injured, they well know. And Page may have given us a tip that that was a bad one.
After my accident, they advanced my insurance benefits and built me a ramp and got me back on my feet.
Our people really care. It meant a lot to us.
It was the global telecommunications link-up they built. Saved the negotiation.
Let's look at that play again. 99 Doug Smith eventually will from behind get his arm caught underneath the pile, and they're still working on the 300-pound defensive tackle who's having his best ever year, and this is 7th season from Auburn.
Well, it was well done by Miami with basically Sammy Smith, the primary receiver, then very late throwing the ball to Page, who he faked to originally.
There's a good sign. You saw Doug Smith moving his arm and his wrist, so it appears that the fears maybe there might have been a fracture are somewhat alleviated, although he's not yet off the field. You know, Doug Smith is, well, we'll get to the Doug Smith story in a moment. I guess we have a ticker coming up here, so let's check other scores on the Miller Genuine Draft Light 10-minute ticker.
Well, with
New Orleans, Seattle.
With Craig healthy, Seattle's a factor. They can come back like they did a year ago.
The Colts still winless. The Jets have won. They go 4-4, and that's a team the Miami Dolphins are watching closely. They're going to be in a battle, one would think, for a possible playoff, one of those wild cards with Buffalo storming here in the East. Sorry to mention that Doug Smith, you talk about a bad year. Last year, he was shot in the right leg in a confrontation. His 5-year-old son was struck by a hit-and-run driver, and his wife almost suffered a miscarriage during the 6th month of their pregnancy. They all got through that all right. And then this year, it's almost a rededicated Doug Smith playing his best ever football.
But it'll take Smith to get the Oilers to the Super Bowl, because he can, that added dimension of him inside there really clogs up that middle.
With less than 5 minutes to go, 2nd and 3. Sammy Smith outside. And a first down at the Houston 24. Al Smith, not related to either Doug or Sammy, made the tackle.
Again, the play was forced outside because Childress and Aim coming up the middle almost cut the whole play off. So they are dominating inside, but again, bouncing all the way to the sideline and using your foot speed to get those extra few yards.
Good news for Oiler fans. Doug Smith back in.
Dan cannot make a mistake here. That's very evident. But he can't wing that ball down in there and hope for the best. They have to execute.
Stays on the ground. And a good hole for Sammy Smith. 5 yards to the 19. Al Smith, who played at Cal Poly Pomona before going to Utah State, made the tackle.
That was Richmond Webb and Tony Page. Webb right at the point of attack. He turned Jones out, and there was the hole.
6'6" and 298.
Here's a sharp. You know, Dick, surprisingly, two of the brightest guys on the field would be Sean Jones and Richmond Webb playing against each other.
Why is that surprising?
Well, they're big guys. You don't think you can be that big and that smart, and they are.
They've got the whole package, those two, matched against each other today. At the 4-minute mark, Marino to Duper to the 1-yard line. They're on their feet now at Joy Robbie.
That's vintage Marino. A slant pass to the inside by Duper. Look at that ball right up over the shoulder. Beautiful shot. And there's a great receiver in Duper. He has been for many years, making the clutch catch.
Well, what a tough catch off the fingertips, juggles and holds at the 1, 18 yards on the play. Duper's third catch today, and the Dolphins are a yard away from regaining the lead with 3:21 to go. They may be reviewing this to see whether or not Duper got in.
Well, what an excellent drive. They've just mixed everything up. It's a much better Dolphin team emotionally than they have been in recent weeks.
Well, it's a credit to Shula and his coaches to rally them after that disaster in Kansas City.
Look at that shot right inside. Beautiful.
That's a tough call. He's holding the ball, the veteran, knowing that the goal line's there. He wanted the touchdown. Down at the 1, but was the ball on the goal line when he went down?
I think his rear end was on the ground before anything else. So his rear end is down there.
Then he reaches. Yeah.
Excellent call by the official. Good placement.
So they work on the rookie, Steve Jackson.
And Jackson was in pretty good shape. It's just that ball gets there so quick when Marino's on target.
Dishman now on his back in the end zone, stretching a leg. And here's another look at Duper down there. Then he reaches. So that was not a touchdown.
You see,
now Dishman just stretching perhaps that hamstring that he's been carrying the last couple of weeks. So it's 1st and goal Miami with 3:21 to go.
It might just by chance be better if they don't score for a couple of downs and take time off that clock. Naturally, they're not thinking of it that way.
That's Jim Jensen in motion. Sammy Smith fumbles again. Oh my, just like last week against Kansas City, and the Houston Oilers have recovered for the touchback. Oh my.
Was he over the goal line before he lost the ball? There's got to be a replay. Did he have control when he went over the goal line?
No signal. No one on the field thought it was a touchdown. And for those of you who saw the game last week in Kansas City, Smith fumbled and it went 100 yards the other way.
He has the ball right now. Nope, he lost it.
Lamar Lathan got his helmet right into the ball. Much has happened against the Chiefs. The Chiefs took it 100 yards for a touchdown. This one is a touchback, Houston. There it is, stripped out at the 1-yard line by the second-year man from the University of Houston, Lamar Lathan. He makes the big play.
How can that happen 2 weeks in a row? He's got to have both hands on the ball. He doesn't protect it. He doesn't keep his pads down. Now that's inexcusable, and that cost him a ball game.
And there's the man. Dishman keeps his string alive. That's 6 straight games he has had either an interception or a fumble recovery.
Now the helmet into the ball. Helmet right into the ball.
9th turnover today. The first in the second half is the critical one. And now Houston will try to run out the clock. White tripped up after a 1-yard gain. Jeff Cross made the stop. Oh, poor Sammy Smith.
Poor Dolphins after that effort. You've got to figure it out from the week before doing that for 100 yards. This cost him the ball game.
And Don Shula, as he talked to us yesterday, said, I wondered, why did he even call it last week? Now, what must he be wondering?
Teenagers are 3 times more likely to die driving at night than during the day.
Kid? Kid? With me, kid?
Talk to your teenager about serious driving issues
Kid!
before someone else has to do the talking.
Someone call the parents.
Sammy Smith, 3rd year out of Florida State. Boy, just how do you even explain that to yourself? 2 weeks in a row on the goal line, fumbling the ball. One was a 14-point play as Kansas City took the fumble 100 yards the other way, and this one may have cost the Dolphins the game. The one last week in Kansas City was when the Miamis trailed only 7-0. but certainly set the tone for the game. Moon on 2nd and 9, a little safety valve to White. Trying for first down yardage, tackled at the 28, where it'll be 3rd and 2, and here comes a big defensive play for the Dolphins, who spend their 2nd timeout. They have to stop Houston here and get the ball, trailing by 4, less than 3 to go.
If your face were square, shaving would be simple. If your face were flat, any razor would do. But your face has curves. You need the revolutionary Schick Tracer, the first razor with a blade that flexes to trace every curve on your face. Compared to other razors, Tracer puts more of the blade edge against your skin. For real faces, just like yours. Tracer from Schick traces every curve on your face.
Dan Marino hoping the defense can hold. The much maligned Miami defense, deservedly so. They've just not played well in stopping the opposition, but today against a powerful Houston team, they've been good.
Been fine. They've been fine today. There's an excellent drive to win the game, and there's no excuse for that fumble. It's that simple. You know, I'm sure, Don, there isn't any excuse.
You
because
can't
it happened a week ago, Dick.
Yeah,
I mean, he did it a week ago. He didn't protect the ball.
Oh, 3rd and 2. Dolphins dig in. It's a pass, and that'll be good enough for the first down, as Pat Coleman has only his 3rd catch of the year, a rookie from Mississippi.
Well, that demonstrates the trust they have in Moon throwing in that situation and using his good judgment. If he drops that ball in there, there could have been a problem, but that's the difference with Moon and other quarterbacks. This guy can do it in the clutch.
And Miami does not spend the 3rd timeout, so that means a full 35 plus seconds will click off to the 2-minute timeout.
It's too far to let it run. You don't want to let it run that many seconds. You won't ever get those back.
See Pardee and the coach is saying, Warren, let it go. So they have 1 timeout left. It'll be first down at the 36. The Oilers in command, looking for a 6-1 start in 1991.
Alcoa presents Fantastic Finishes, Super Bowl 23.
With 3:10 remaining, the 49ers will have to go from their 8-yard line. There is a lot staring them in the face.
And the 49ers stared it all down. 11 plays later, they were 10 yards from a title.
39 seconds remaining. Back to throw Montana. Steps up, throws.
Recycling aluminum beverage cans can help save money, since they're worth more at recycling centers and at curbside pickup. Save energy, since they have more recycled content. They save landfill space, since more than 63% of all aluminum cans made are recycled. Yes, recycling aluminum cans saves more of a lot of things, which helps save one more thing. Aluminum beverage cans. Why in the world would you buy anything else?
Warren Moon into the flat, and a good play made by the Miami defense on Drew Hill to push him out of bounds. J.B. Brown, as you saw, the time down to 2:01. Houston miscalculated and took a 5-yard delay of game penalty, and now this is the 2-minute timeout. It's at the 41-yard line. Pick up about 10 yards on the pass. It'll be 2nd and 5.
Just the freaks of the game, the situation where you basically all but concede the game and somebody fumbles. It's too bad.
This will be, Bill, the best start for Houston since they opened 6-1 in 1975 when Bum Phillips was the headmaster in Houston. So with the 2-minute warning, this timeout.
The new supercharged Pontiac SSEI. Comfort without compromise. Performance without penalty. Excitement without apology. Pontiac SSEI.
Well, Well, Moon will throw. Moon will throw in these situations. Typically, a team will keep it on the ground, but Moon will take a chance on an incomplete pass that would stop the clock. But their passing game is so good that he says the heck with it. He'll throw the ball in these situations. It's 2 passes now, and typically you'd run the ball and you let the clock run.
Executive producer of NBC Sports, Terry O'Neill. Today's game has been directed by John Gonzalez, produced by John Feratzis, and our thanks to our help in the booth, Slingshot Schneiderman, Harry Von Suckel, Terry Brumfield, and all men and women here in the heat of Miami, covering the Oilers and the Dolphins. And Houston is 1 first down away from locking this one up. Only 1 timeout left for Miami. The Dolphins 1st and goal at the 1 here in the final minutes, only to see Sammy Smith cough up the ball for the 2nd straight week. 2nd and 5. Oops. Alfred Oglesby offside. And while they sort it out, a lot of finger pointing who did what to whom. New Orleans is now 7-0. Seattle goes 4-4. The Jets are 4-4, and New England still leads by 3, as what would have to be categorized as the surprising Patriots could be 3-4 at the end of today, ahead of Miami.
It's just a case, as with New England, of just being well organized and everybody knowing their role and concentrating. He took an awful team, and they've become competitive just in a few months.
And that first down on the penalty for Houston should lock it up. 4 more downs for the Oilers. 1 timeout left. White protects the ball. The Dolphins should spend their final timeout right here. So 1:50 to go and 3 plays, and they allow, with the 45-second clock, 3 plays. Just about will get it done for Houston.
Dick, I'm sure that Don Shula's just in a state of shock. Tom Olivadotti standing next to him. The fine job his defense did. Excellent job turning it around in a week. Really unfortunate.
Every time I see the commercials and use the 2 words Old Spice, that's the first cologne that I ever used as a kid. You know, when you really shave. The Old Spice. NFL Live post-game report. Does Costa shave yet?
We should send a bottle to each of these.
They've got all kinds. They're standing by. They'll give you all the scores, all the highlights, hairy as it may be. And for the Houston Oilers, they're going to leave Florida with a very hard-earned win. At defense, Miami Dolphins that just found itself this week against a very tough offense, 2nd best in the NFL, the best offense passing in the NFL, and the Dolphin defense did their job. But when they had the opportunity to win it, that cancer of the game, the fumble, showed up for Miami. Lorenzo White powers to the Miami 47-yard line, and now 45 seconds will tick away. You think that that's just too much at this stage of the game? That I know what they try to do, and instead of the 30 seconds between plays, just it's automatic 45. It just seems like an awful lot of time to let the team.
I'm sure at this point Don Shula would agree with that, because the game is just draining away from him after a great effort. Possibly the best game Miami has played all year. I would say most likely. Certainly the best defensive effort. And he just must be sick, because you can isolate it to 1 person, and that's really unfortunate.
Moon letting that full 45 tick away. 3, 2, 1. Barely got the snap off in time, and a flag goes down. And now let's take a look at today's Canon camcorder replay of the game. And this will be one that Dolphin fans would rather not see again, but certainly be played over and over again as Sammy Smith takes a helmet from Lamar Lathan. The ball squirts out. Houston's Chris Dishman recovers in the end zone to save an apparent Houston victory.
That's not how you do it. You don't have that ball exposed out there to somebody's helmet to knock it out, especially when a week before you blew it.
Hugh Green was the Dolphin offside on the play, and that gives the Oilers another first down. And to clean up our final piece of business here, the employee owners of Avis salute the game's MVP, Chris Dishman. It's been an MVP defensive season for that cornerback of the Oilers. He's the winner of the We Try Harder Award today. Avis, the official car rental company of the NFL. And now with 55 seconds left, it's just a kneel down time for Warren Moon. And the Oilers go 6-1, one of the top teams of the American Football Conference. Again, they seem so much more devastating under that dome in Houston than they are on the road, but they survived today. As you see, the men and women, Terry O'Neill, the Johns, Faratzis, and Gonzalez, who produce and direct our coverage. Will Belkey, our associate director, and all the rest. Jerome Ingram, our production associate.
Well, Houston, if they got a home field or home dome advantage, they could be a Super Bowl team. Now, outdoors in bad weather, I couldn't guarantee anything, but indoors in the dome, they can be tough.
Yeah, that's going to be a battle. Buffalo and Houston in the AFC for that honor, it would appear, at this stage of the season. So the final seconds tick away, and the Houston Oilers have survived in Miami today, just as they did in New York a week ago, beating the Jets. It's Moon and the Oilers 17-13 as Jack Pardee goes home with